This as well as only access alive, as well as my main man Crypto Vince. Hope everybody's doing all right today. Give me a second. I'm just trying to find my own stream on the what do you call this thing on YouTube, so I can be in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tweet it out too.
Let's see here. Okay, yeah, we're live. And I happen to be on mute for once. So let's see, we got 18 people in the chat, so it's getting a little packed. Want to let people kind of stroll in, just so you guys that are already here know. This specific stream is about correlations, what they are, how they work, just very basic stuff. Mainly because people are confused. They seem to think that because something ticks for 2 minutes in line with something else, that there's a correlation. False. That is not how it works. And we'll go into all of that, into all of those nuances in a little bit. I have to step away shortly, but it's just going to be momentary. I will be back within minutes. But this is going to be a good one. I just want to let the room get packed before we get into it. We'll do a roll call in a little bit. Give me a second, guys.
That's good, man.
All right, Vince, take her away.
Oh man, I'm like the least knowledgeable person here, so if anything else, yeah.
Yeah, no worries. We're all here to learn. We're all here to learn. There's a lot that I'll bring up. Yeah, there's a lot that I'll bring up. Now, it might make sense, might not make sense. Ask questions, interrupt. Because here's the thing. This stuff is so simple that it can be very complicated. You know what I mean? So, like I kind of went over it a little bit this morning, right? And even what I thought was simple was still a little too high level. So I'm going to try to really make it very basic. And not basic in a way that it's insulting, but basic in a way that's like, oh, okay. All right, because I even wrote like what I was talking about earlier with you guys. Like I wrote it down because it's really very simple. But people have to understand the nuances. So with that, you guys can just talk about Bitcoin and whatever's going on. I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah. All
right, we're good.
Yeah.
So Vince, what do you want to start off with? I mean, you and I have been going back and forth for a little while about a couple different topics, crypto related and just general markets and kind of like with the times and with the big dump and like maybe where crypto's headed in the next few weeks. It would be like what do you kind of see coming down the pipe over the next few weeks from your expert opinion?
Expert opinion. Honestly, I feel like we're kind of in uncharted territory right now. I think I usually go off of like Richard's calls because he's been pretty accurate and whatnot. So I think what was his last prediction?
Like, yeah, I think he's like calling for like 10K on Bitcoin.
10K,
right?
Yeah, it's a little scary for me because I didn't really think we would go down past the previous cycle's all-time high. So yeah, I'm just I don't know. I've just been kind of moved a little bit of my holdings into like stable coins and stuff like that. And but I mean vast majority of my portfolio is still in Hex, and I'm just kind of just watching and observing the news and all that. So
I'm right there with you on that. Like most of my holdings are in Hex, and I just recently sold off my data center, so I'm mining at a much smaller scale now. So, but nice. I think the market is really priming. I think this crypto market always outperforms your wildest expectations to upside or downside. So when Richard says 10K Bitcoin, does he actually mean 10K Bitcoin, or does he mean like 25K with like a generous wick down to like 12K or 13K? And I think that's kind of more what he means is like we'll be there for minutes, not because like it's gonna be a flush like if it does happen. So what you got right now is you have a market in panic, and anybody who purchased Ethereum above 3,000 or Bitcoin above 40,000 is hurting really bad right now. And so because of that, it's an opportunity for institutions that looked really dumb a few months ago for not getting in. He's going to be like really smart here because they're going to be able to take advantage of retail as retail gets shaken out of the market.
Oh yeah, a little flash sale for them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And like that's kind of what we had the other day with like 33 when we went from 42. Like we basically went from 50 to 30 in like a day or two, right? And
blink of an eye, basically.
The big dump from 42 to 30 though, that was the flush that I thought that was the flush, to be honest. And there's definitely enough selling right now and enough mining selling pressure as well from that angle that I feel like we could go lower on these coins, but what I think it would be in the institutional best interest as far as the players that have positions right now to actually support the market here and let it bounce back up to like 50 to 52K. But contrary to that, you have people like Crypto Sniper. Like he's short right now Bitcoin, and the chart looks like it's an obvious short that you would just set a tight stop. It's just obvious, but I just for anybody that's in a position right now, you're actually just better off just if you're in spot, just hold it because we're gonna see this bull market continue. It's just we're in a lull period where we need to, give people on both sides, institutional and retail, an opportunity to purchase at lower prices.
Yeah.
And a dollar cost their way into profit at lower prices. So that's kind of how I see the market. So you just kind of got to protect yourself and hedge yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Like I see people saying, like the bear market's here, but I really don't think that's the case. I think the bull run was just a bit too short. And I definitely think we still have, a ways to go. On the flip side, I just the only thing that really scares me about Richard's calls is that they're historically they've been pretty accurate. Like even when he called the 60K top, he did live on stream and he even said he just kind of pulled it out of his ass, but like we really did kind of top out at 60K. So yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's pretty good. He's got a really good he's got a really good finger on the market just because he literally like when you get in on a world changing asset as early as he did, he was actually he's publicly said multiple times that he made the $32 top, and so because he's like literally physically done that and had the skin in the game and he's held through. His gauge on this market is probably better than most people. So I mean, I don't want to believe that we'd see 10K, but it's definitely possible. I wouldn't rule it out. But I really also wouldn't consider that something to be scared of either. I think you should just protect your position, and just try to add as you can, right? Because this bull is not over, and it's obvious to me that there's tons more upside coming in the next 18 months.
Yeah.
Probably sooner, actually. I think 18 months is, but we could see like this extended cycle because when Bitcoin ran up from basically when we broke 13K and we started to move, and then we had that Thanksgiving dump from 19 something down to 16, 15, flush people out, and then we ran past 20. That was such a fast move from 20 to 64 that really what that was Stan Druckenmiller kind of talked about this. I saw a tweet today about how he related the .com bubble of the 99 and 2000 to current times, and how COVID was like basically an accelerated way for money to move into new hands, I guess is a way to put it. Basically, you just sped up inflation. So asset prices exploded, crypto prices exploded, the dollar went down. It's just been a huge opportunity. You saw how fast Bitcoin rallied, right? And how high it went. Well, this is now going to overcorrect to the downside. So that's kind of where we're at with this.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah. No, I was just going to interject that. I heard some statistic that I think 32% of all US dollars was printed last year.
That's crazy. I thought it was 25 or 26, but dude, I would. How would we know? How would we really know?
I don't think we'd have.
I don't really look deep enough.
Really reliable metric. Yeah.
So my reliable metric is that how the rate of change of Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is fixed in supply relatively, right? There is inflation to it, but it's relatively fixed at this point. So like you can project like its price appreciation against everything else. So if you start charting commodities or stocks or other assets against Bitcoin, and you on like TradingView, for example, you can draw those charts up, and you can actually see what would be the beginning stages of truer valuations of things, because what you're actually seeing is the dollar fall out of favor, and you actually want to value, like traditionally you'd value it things against gold. So I like as lumber prices went 10x, like I would value lumber. I would go look at the lumber versus gold chart. It's actually something that a buddy of mine turned me on to, and it's really valuable because it can show you a better gauge on inflation, and the more charts that you can keep in your mind and look at on a daily basis, the better overall worldview picture you're going to have of what's going on with the global macro.
Yeah.
But relating that back to Hex, I feel like Hex is its own beast, and what we're going to find is that the monies are going to flow into a pure sovereign money system, and whatever that looks like, it's going to be completely decorrelated from any other market. And so what we have tonight for you guys is a look at what, basically the proof in the pudding of Hex's ability to just go against the grain and become the store of value that the world has been seeking. Like we're in a world that's starved for yield, and there's tons of counterparty risk, but we have now a piece of software that can basically cover our ass, and you can see it in the decorrelation metric that Wales drew up for us. So I'll let Wales take it away from here.
Yeah. What's going on, guys? Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Only a couple minutes in. I guess we'll just get started because the thing about it is it's very, very simple stuff. But when you first come across it, it can be very difficult to wrap your head around, because it's like, wait, you're saying A is a function of B, but not really. And yeah, that's exactly right. Not really. And we're going to go into why, because it's not really that nuanced. You just have to understand that that's just how things are. And that's just what it is, right? Like, nothing is really perfect, right? Nothing is laid out
Nothing is
as
perfect,
a given.
but in an extremely hyperinflationary environment, and we need some sort of asset to gauge things against.
Right.
Why not completely decorrelated one?
Correct. And that's what stream is all about. It's really just to show people and to highlight, just the simplicity behind the reality of the situation, right? And that's really all I just want to highlight. I'll get started with a disclaimer as always. This is all math-based information. This is not financial advice. You make your own financial decisions, as always stated. I'm just merely here to show you the facts and figures. The decision is yours to make. And we're just here to share relevant, timely, and topical information. The information displayed in this broadcast, however, is known to cause increased amounts of FOMO. Wales only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for just not knowing how to do some simple math. I mean, we try here, but we can't help you if you don't do the work yourself, right? Because again, only you can make your own financial decisions at the end of the day.
Like you should, when you listen to Wales talk about the math, there should be some sort of intuition that you should be keying into, that you wouldn't be here if you didn't sense something about, even if you're not math minded. Like, I'm not necessarily math minded. I figured it out over time, but it wasn't easy for me. But here I am, and so my view on the world is, more philosophical and more like ratios and harmonics, patterns, and frequencies. So I look at what Wales does, and I correlate what he does with what's going on in my mind, and everything draws into a stream of confluence, where what he's saying is making sense with what I'm thinking.
Nice.
So like all of us that are here at this time in Hex obviously have this otherworldly sense of that we're here for a reason, and that the mathematics are backing up what we're experiencing. So like when you just go to hit stake, you stake your coins, you leave there feeling pretty freaking good, dude, because you're getting this interest that's permanent, immutable, no counterparty, and the asset's up like crazy. So like, and the decorrelation is going to show you why. So here we go. Buckle up. I mean, time to roll.
It's going to be crazy. And you know what it is? I have so many charts, right? Because this is important. So I have, and I just got more tied up than I anticipated, but I got rolling collateral. So you know what? It's so much, and it's so much, but it's so little. Hold on. I just realized I missed something that I wanted to have in here. This is how simple this is for me. I just do it on the fly because you either know it or you don't, right? And whatever I know is going to be based on what is actually true. I don't. So my information doesn't come from like opinions, right? Like I say this all the time, but just to harp on it one more time, whatever information you see on any of my streams should be correct. If anything I do happen to relay is incorrect, please be sure to let me know. But it shouldn't be. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about it.
Because like if somebody in chat, if you see a mistake, I want you to call it out, because we need to. We're all here to fix the problems of this world. That's why we're here, straight up.
Correct. Yeah. Fix the money, fix the world, right?
100%. And it feels like it's so simple now that we have this, right? It's just now we just gotta spread it like wildfire.
Correct. One correlation.
So as you're typing this up, Wales, I've heard on other Hex streams like things like that Hex is like 76% correlated to Bitcoin, for example. Where are they getting that number and why? It's insignificant as to where, who, or where, or when. But my point is, how are people coming up with these numbers when you're
how do you even calculate that?
I have a good. So this last item is exactly how. So rolling correlations, right? They are basically a calculation that determines a time series. Well, it's really a fixed time series. A fixed time series correlation calculation, right? That's
so. In other words, like a period of time, like 30 day, a 90 day, 120 day. Correct. Like you're basically you're cherry picking the time measurement of time, right?
A select range of time.
Correct. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So
like if we were gonna
go ahead. No.
I was just gonna say, like, so when you chose the numbers for this, you chose like month, right? 1 month, maybe like a period, like a 3 month, right?
I chose like a yearly, what I chose specifically were 21 day, 34 day, and 55 day. Because
there's a little bit about that.
Yeah, I will. Because there's only so much data, right, that exists for Hex, right? So we have to be mindful of. Hold on one second. So we have to be mindful of the data or the time frames that we select, right? Because Hex is only 16 months old, right? It's very, very new.
Yeah.
And with that, there's only but so much data that we can lean on, right? So we want to be able to get an amalgamation of data points. Like, what is the big picture, right? That's always you guys know I'm always looking at the big picture, because that is what really gives us the best angle as far as what is actually going on, right? Because it's very easy to think but then, the top happens and you didn't see it coming, even though people were talking about it for 2 months.
Yeah.
Right? That happens to pretty much everybody, right? And there's a reason for that, right? The reason for that is because people aren't minding their P's and Q's. They're too busy dreaming up high in the sky, right? As we like to call it in legacy finance. And that's just, you get comfortable, market's only going in one direction, and, life is good. It's going to 300K right now, not later. You know, all of that good stuff that people like to think is possible, right? And it's just not, right? And the very reason for that is because nothing moves in a straight line, right? And this is why people think they can say Hex is correlated 76% or whatever nonsense to Bitcoin, right? Even though after this past run, we can clearly see that's not the case, right? I mean, you have to be a legit moron to keep thinking that. I mean, and if you keep thinking that after this stream and you're watching it, then you should
just
check
don't
yourself
understand the
in.
math. No, you just don't understand the math.
No. Fuck not understanding the math. You need to check yourself into some type of mental institution. That's called cognitive dissonance, and that's called losing your shit, right? You know, you got to stick to the facts, man, because it's very easy to make money. It's not easy to keep it. People really, really love to forget that, you know, and I understand why. But, you know, look at all the maxis, man. They had to relearn that fucking lesson really, really quickly, right? And people are still of the mind frame that this is a dip buying opportunity, and we're going to get into how it's not. Don't worry, because, you know, I have all the tools at my disposal. I've been doing this for 10 years, right? Like, I did a whole stream on March 4th to let people know the top was coming. Like, you know, it's on the tape. It's on the tape, right? And this is what it's about. It's about receiving timely, valuable information, not about who the fuck is giving it to you. Pro tip, you might want to write that one down because the maxis didn't, and look at their asses now, right? That's how it works. That's really how it works, right? It's very easy to, you know, all those people legit thought this shit was going up forever.
I mean, I can just think of a simple fundamental that was a huge sign to me, which was gas prices, right? So that was unsustainable because I remember, so we were mining some Ethereum at the time, and like our payouts went from 2 Ethereum a month to 4 Ethereum a month because gas prices screamed up for like a week. That's unsustainable.
That's
So think about the inflation rate at that point of miners being able to dump. You know, so it's like
sense.
But then that wasn't it though. Then you got things like, okay, Doge mining. Okay, you could have bought Litecoin miners for $50 in 18 and be sitting on a gigantic cache of them and flip them on, and 8 of them would make you $50 a day. Right. You know, so it's like you just paid off your investment in a week. You know what I mean? So it's
which is hard to do. It's not like
so the rate of inflation on that coin is 10. Was it like? It's crazy. It's like 10,000 coins per block.
Plus with those, you could merge mine Litecoin and Doge at the same time.
Right. So then the Litecoin was paying off your fucking electric bill, and the Doge was just straight profit. Dude, that's not. Robinhood can't even pay for all that fucking Doge. They're broke anyway.
Word. Yeah. So look at that. I see when it comes to all of this,
all these metrics that I'm seeing, okay, a top's coming. There's like things that are coming that this is unsustainable. Like the economy is unsustainable. It's just like, man, it's just so deep and it can be made back simple though. So we don't want to make things complex. We want to make things simple. But we just said we're drawing confluence between different metrics on different chains. Well, I gave you 2 just now. Well, I'm going to give you a third one. So Bitcoin mining, right? A fucking S9, a machine made in 2016 was producing like $4 or $5 a day for Joe Schmo on his goddamn Kmart electric bill that he was stealing off the goddamn Kmart down the street. Anybody could have been mining at that point. So the amount of sell pressure that entered the market there. So what we needed to do now is we need to raise the hash rate of the Bitcoin so that way the little guy can't compete again. So that way strong hands can acquire all the coins. So that way the sell pressure isn't there. So that way we can push the price up past 100K. But that wasn't going to happen before because the hash rate wasn't there, because the chips aren't being made, because COVID stopped the supply chains of all the new chip production, and you have like Samsung chips for phones that have priority over ASICs for fucking mining Bitcoin, right? Until the flippening, and I'm talking about the real flippening, where the crypto financial system literally absorbs the legacy system. But we're not there yet. But that's another exciting part we'll talk about maybe in another stream.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming, right? It's definitely coming.
Well,
Eventually.
I honestly, I think it's Hex. I think Hex is the one to do it, and we can. And I mean, I could expand on that later. So,
it's interesting, right? Because I agree, but the hurdle I see, and this is the guy that's calling for $10 hex like this year, right? The hurdle with that is people on the legacy side understanding, right?
Yeah,
because
they always lag behind a little bit.
Well, it's not even that. It's just the terminology is entirely different, right? Like for me, for example, a person coming from now, I'm not the definition for all people on Wall Street, right? But just use myself as an example because I've been dabbling in capital markets for 10 years. You think I would at least have an idea of how people think. So just based on that notion, right? People don't know what the fuck staking is. So just that word alone is going to throw people off. Right? There's anything wrong with staking. It's just a different word. So they have to figure out what that means.
Yeah, I've defined it a couple of different ways. Like I say time locking.
Yeah,
or
Actually,
I try to relate to.
I say time locking. Yeah.
And that's the interesting thing is like we're really just abstracting simple principles of good behavior. That's all we're really doing. So you can define it any way you want. It's like, dude, just all you have to say is like, dude, I have this cool thing that yields you 37% if you keep your commitment. Like that's an easy way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. My point is for a person coming up on it like by themselves, like I did, they're not gonna have a fucking clue, even though they already do. Right? And that's the interesting thing, right? Because it changes the dynamic a little bit because it gives people pause, and it has to, because it stopped me from staking for the first few days. I didn't get it. Just the word alone, right? Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. That's all. It is what it is. It's a word that just doesn't exist on the legacy side of finance. So people will have time, initially trying to come to terms with what that means. It's not going to stop anything, clearly, but it's something to worry about, and not from a serious perspective, but more from you should be aware that it exists perspective, right? Because if I run into that problem, who isn't? Right? It's just a simple definitional issue, right? It's not anything else. So, it's just keeping that in mind. That's really all it is, because at the end of the day, once somebody gets over that hurdle, it's not much of a hurdle, right? Yeah. So that's the most important thing to remember. But just keep in mind that terminology hurdle is still a hurdle. And we'll have to battle with it over time, but the more people get in tune with what is actually happening over here, as you guys have already seen, right? Over the past couple weeks, people are like, well, what the fuck is Hex? I bet.
A lot of that on Twitter lately. Yep.
Oh yeah.
A lot of new people asking.
Yeah. And it's just like I've been talking about. People got to understand. It's just like I've been talking about. Nobody gives a shit about anything except the value. I mean, hell, Richard Hart's been saying this since day one. Right?
We've been saying it since October, literally, that there's inherent value in the system, but people rely on price to determine value instead of seeking fundamental and technical analysis to prove value and mathematics to prove value.
Yeah.
Well, I think the first thing to realize is that people in crypto, they're people in crypto. And it's not to be dismissive of people in crypto, but it is what it is, right? If you've been around crypto longer than 5 years, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're new to crypto, then you don't. And that's merely a function of your time in the market. If you're a person that's astute and you like factual information and you like making proper investment decisions, then you're going to come to the same realization that I'm about to lay on you right now. And it's just a simple fact that people that invest in Bitcoin or whatever, right? Just people in crypto in general. And it just happens to be primarily people that, we know to love and hate. The forever Bitcoin maxi, right? People that just think that a market is one dimensional are built to lose, right? They're going to lose no matter what. And this is something that hexingers understand, because even hexagon is no better than to be one-dimensional. It just doesn't do anything for you, right? This is why you have hexagons that were Bitcoin maxis, Ethereum maxis, whatever, and they no longer are, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm one of them.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Here.
There you go. And I mean, it's just
like my graphic on my Twitter is like every day I think, should I change it? Should I change it? Because like at some point the Holy Trinity breaks down because Hex takes over.
There you go.
It's like I'm dead serious. And can I also just sidestep for a second?
Sure.
I just wanted to address a question here, or not a question, but just a comment here in the chat.
So I'm not. So hold on, I'm not in the chat. So you guys are in the chat. If you guys can see questions that pop up, definitely interject with that.
Heximus Decimus Meridia said something like, "You can't wait for Pulse," and she's coming in hot. And yeah, she is. But here, like, Hex is designed to be a store of value and to pump up forever. But Pulse and Ethereum are the same in that they're actually more like supposed to be used like a utility, like oil, like it's like something that you use, you consume it like gas, like.
Correct. It's a commodity.
So I mean, yeah, it's nice to maybe get in on that sacrifice phase and then see some huge appreciation on that coin. But I'm telling you that Hex is actually the play, like on both chains. It's the play. So I mean, I'm a little bit contradictory with that compared to what other people in the community are saying, but I'm definitely bullish on Hex, and I'll say that outright for sure.
Yeah.
So
it's good to be contrarian about that. Yeah. For sure.
But yeah, so let's get into this correlation, man.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I want to keep talking about that because it's like I was just thinking because it's true, right? And I always say that people need to understand that there's a difference between Hex and what it is and Pulse and what it's going to be, right? Pulse is just like you said, infrastructure. It's not anything more, but it's gonna be the damn best infrastructure out there. Don't get that shit confused.
100%. I don't want that to go like on misunderstood.
No.
There's going to be a huge upside to Pulse, but it's just that at the end game of all this, what pays the bills?
Correct.
The guy that's storing all the money in the bank, or the guy that's providing the electricity to the bank?
Yeah.
There
you know what I mean? It's like, come on.
I mean, look, I think it's basic, right? But the thing about it is that people are too used to crypto shit, right? And this is why I say the things that I say. It's not just about the pump and dump, and I think that after the past couple of weeks that we've seen in crypto and all of the things that we always discuss on all of our streams about being not so much risk averse, but being risk smart, right? Because it's about taking calculated risks, not about taking dumb risks. You know what I mean? So there's a difference, right? It's like chasing bad money. There's nothing positive about that. All money is not good money, right? This is why people don't like trading on BNB, on Binance Smart Chain, right? There's a reason for that. It's not a coincidence. There's a reason for it. It's not because people don't like CZ. It's because of the experiences that people have had on that chain. And it's still ongoing, right? It's not like it's something that doesn't happen. It happens, right? So understanding all of that is very important, right? Because nobody's saying that Pulse isn't going to be the bomb. Of course, it's gonna be supremely better than Ethereum. No doubt about it. But what Axis is saying is very clear, at least in my mind, because I agree. Pulse serves its purpose, right? But what we have to keep in mind is that a money printer is a money printer. Let's not forget that, right? And I think that's what my man Axis is saying here. Like, don't lose it.
And also think about Pulse's monetary policy. So you start off with X amount, and then there's always going to be less.
Yeah, it's completely deflationary upon launch.
Completely deflationary, correct.
So that's actually positive for price, but it also means that you're not printing more of this thing that's also appreciating. So I don't know. I mean, they're going to be different. They're going to be a lot different. Like T-Bird said, they're going to be two different types of investments. So
you gotta pick. Yeah, that's what this.
It'll be interesting to see the correlations between those. In like 2-3 years.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna be tracking them too. It's gonna be definitely fun to watch because people are gonna learn how to look at things, right? Because if there's one thing that I've noticed is that even when it comes to the big group of us hexagons here, you know, people are still not clear, right, with respect to what makes sense and what doesn't. And the reason I say that is because, you know, I'm hard pressed to understand why people that own Hex are confused, right? And the reason I say that is because you own the best crypto in the market, bar none, like hands down.
Hands down, yeah.
Hands down. And
Crypto Armageddon proved that, by the way. And I made a tweet that day how Bitcoin or how Hex like was creating a ascending wedge on the two major fucking cryptos. What the hell?
wow.
That was like an in your face, like, oh, by the way, in USD it's sitting still, chilling like a baller. And then against
Right.
Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's actually in an ascending triangle, about ready to break the fuck out. Wow, the entire market's crashing 20 to 30%.
Have fun.
How much more in your face do you need to see? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? People don't want to acknowledge the facts.
Yeah.
They want to stick to beliefs and all this fiction. Hey, man, if fiction works for you, congratulations. You know, like that shit is crazy. You're not like fiction is not paying the bills. Last time I checked.
Nope.
Especially for all the people that like to talk about they like making money. Right, like there's a whole lot of people in crypto. Oh, but I gotta pay the bills. Well, I can't fucking tell because you don't like to make money. That's a whole lot of people in crypto, a whole lot.
Yeah.
So you know,
easy money come, easy money go. So that's basically your crypto folks. They're gonna be the broke plebs in like 10 years. They're gonna be the guys that had tens of millions that ended up with nothing.
Well, let's keep in mind that we've just proved who the plebs are. Yeah. Not hexagons, that's for sure. Because the last time I checked, Hex jumped 5 spots in the market cap game. So people like to look at that, even though it means nothing. Right? It wasn't Hex that dropped market cap positions. It was everything else. So I think we've discovered who the plebs are, and guess what? They're not hexagons. How about that?
You want to talk about cognitive dissonance? It's watching Michael Saylor shit on Bitcoin until it went over $10,000, and then all of a sudden it's the only asset. Man. It's the only asset. How did you put that?
I don't even have words. I don't even have words for that man, bro. Because look, if there's one thing that I'll say is you gotta know when to throw in the towel, bro. You just gotta know when to shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, know when to shut up.
I mean, dude, he just went too far, man. Like when he decided to go and take loan, like go that heavy, like 600 million in loans against on Bitcoin at 20K. I was like, dude.
Yeah, and he's eating that shit now.
No,
eating that shit now. And this is the thing, right? I don't know if you guys remember, but a long time ago, I on a Quant Gang stream, I showed how Bitcoin was available to be used as collateral on Coinbase. And this is what I've been talking about.
Yeah, it dropped from like 100K to like 20K, right?
20K, right. It dropped from 100K to 20K. Yeah. Now it is no longer a viable asset that can be used as collateral.
At all?
At all.
Wow.
It happens that quickly, folks. And this is why you need to know the difference between an asset and something that's not an asset.
Yeah.
You know, go back to the stream 2, I think it was, or maybe 4. Whichever one I did, you know, I'll put it in the show notes because you really have to understand that. Do not be Michael Saylor. Be educated. Do not lie to yourself and think you know what the fuck you're talking about when you don't. You don't want to make that mistake because you look like that guy. Now, imagine how that gentleman is looking after all this shit he was talking and borrowing at the top. What?
Yeah.
Not a good look at all. That's when you start getting those taps on the shoulder. You never want to get a tap on the shoulder, folks. Not what you want. Ever. So, you know, good luck to that guy. Hopefully he gets to keep his job.
He'll be fine long term, but I mean, he owns over 56%.
In the short term is what I mean. I mean, in the short term.
Short term, he's going to be feeling like an idiot for a while, but
well, it's okay. not so much that. when you're the CEO of a public company, you got motherfuckers to answer to.
By the way, I'm gonna go look up right now MicroStrategy stock price. I want to see it, and I want to value it against other things.
It's got to be trading in line with Bitcoin. It's got to be trading in line with Bitcoin.
Well, it definitely is volatile now.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing, right? This is once we get into these charts, because I'm still cleaning them up, because I had to update the price and all of that for the latest Hex stuff, and just I had to update the actual.
I'm actually very excited to go through the charts with you. I don't think me and you have done this in months.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So it definitely has been a while.
So MicroStrategy is trading at 470. It's down 65% off the all-time high, or not the all-time high, the recent high, 1400. Because its actual all-time high was back in the .com bubble at like 3,000 plus. Okay, so we made it halfway back there. But anyway, so it's down 65%. Yeah, they went sideways. They went down to like $1 from $3,000, and they recovered back to 1,400 like 20 years later. So hell yeah, good go, guys.
Wow. and that's equity markets for you, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's Michael Saylor making a bet on Bitcoin, and it worked. So I give him props. Same time, I'm like, bro, like why didn't you buy? That's just the thing. Was like when he was, man, his story is going to be amazing in like 50 years.
Man, that dude's definitely going down in the books.
I hope he buys into Hex like early enough that he can not be, he can look back and say, you know what?
At least I saved my ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like I do believe that it's really the only thing that can challenge Bitcoin as a store of value.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Look. Yeah. Let's talk about what's happened on Friday. I don't want to talk about it too long because it's fucked up, but it needs to be talked about. I'm pretty sure everybody's heard about the SEC trying to come against people that were promoting BitConnect.
Yeah, like Trayvon.
Correct. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
And yet, hold your head, brother, but you have to understand it's a bullshit charge. Why is it a bullshit charge? Because why in the fuck would you go against the club promoter when the owner of the building is a person that let the building burn down?
Yeah.
So again, understand the game that you're playing. A lot of people like to talk like they do, but let me let you know something. They fucking don't. And that's a classic example, right? A classic example. It's not to speak negative or positive about anybody. It's just how shit works. You think you're fucking good doing what you're doing when you don't have a clue. And that's how reality works. I'm 100% sure the last thing he thought he was going to get was a slap on the wrist or even any recognition for that bullshit because it ain't got nothing to do with him. That's a fact.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with him.
That's crazy to me. Like,
he was just doing what we're doing right now, just
precisely
the thing that he loved at the time.
So again, this is not financial advice, SEC. Yeah. We're just here spreading honest knowledge.
But here's the thing, right? So. You have to understand, they don't care. They do whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
They don't care. They just needed scapegoats.
Correct. Yeah. And this is the whole point, right? Be careful with what you say. Stop acting like you know when you don't. And I'm letting your ass know you don't fucking know. Take notes. Listen to how I speak. You don't want to end up on that hot seat. This is advice. Because I work in the industry. There's a reason I don't show my fucking face. People think it's a joke. It's not. Take heed. Because you don't want to be that guy. Tell you what, because he's going to fucking pay up. He has no choice but to defend himself now. Because when the fucking boys come after you, it's your ass. It's not a fucking game.
Got a lot more capital to screw you over than you do to fight back. So that's basically the position you don't want to end up in.
When you're not the one making the rules, you're fucked. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
So act like you do and make sure you act like you heard it on this stream because I never fucking lie to you.
And pay your fucking taxes, people.
Yeah. Or don't be dumb enough to report that shit. Pro tip.
Or
read the motherfucking code.
Rico.
Yeah. Read the fucking IRS code. It's right there. It's not hidden at all. So read that IRS code. That, that's what I'll tell people. I tell people that shit all the time. You're not gonna get any proper tax advice from anybody. Read the IRS code. That's what you need to do. You need to make sure you understand what you're reading and make the proper decision for yourself. Nobody on the internet is gonna fucking fix your problem. Period. Not me, not Richard Hart, not anybody. Because you have to make the decision to educate yourself and be better. Nobody can do that shit for you. So that's the fucking main thing people have to understand. Everybody likes to hear FOMO and shit. And yeah, it's cool. I get it. It's fun to think you're going to be rich. But let me give you guys some good advice. It's funner to think what you're going to do with that money because you're going to keep it. But a lot of people don't like to take the actions to make that a reality. Do not become a victim to that reality. Trust me.
One way you can protect yourself is by spreading your stakes across multiple addresses that never touch each other. So like in a perfect world, you'd actually purchase virgin Bitcoin or virgin Ethereum that has been mined and just went from a miner's wallet into your wallet.
Yeah.
And then you can convert that into Hex. And then that's like the best way to have fresh Hex that has no trace. But when you come from an exchange, that's already tied. So you're going to be reporting that. So FYI.
Yep.
Yeah, and then just Opsec, like make sure that you're doing the multiple wallets thing because what happens if one of your accounts gets hacked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose all your stakes at once, or would you rather lose them one at a time?
Right.
Just be careful out there, and think about that stuff because I don't know, man. It's so simple for my simple pleb mind. It's like I always wanted to have all my stakes pretty on one ladder, and then I'm like, dude, you got to be smarter about this, right? So now I got I got one account that will be they divided up over the years,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, here's the thing, right?
Once they're made, you can't go back and retroactively do that. You have to wait for the stakes.
Yeah.
That's it. Correct. I mean, and that's the thing, right? A lot of this stuff is it's all on you, right? It's not on anybody else. You have to make sure you're making the right decisions, and I say this all the time, and I'm pretty sure I sound like a broken record, but I'm of the mind that a lot of these emergency end stakes that we're seeing are hacks. A lot of these things don't make sense. I get the whole language barrier and all that, but I'm just not convinced that all of these emergency end stakes that we're seeing are honestly hacks. I'm not convinced, and that's primarily because what we're seeing is just nonsensical stuff. Not to say that I'm right. I could be entirely wrong, but it's tough. It's just hard for me to believe that. But anything is possible, right? Yeah. And it's crazy, man, because we're seeing some really odd emergency end stakes. So I don't know, bro. That shit's crazy. Yeah. Crazy. But yeah, man, you guys just need to be careful when you're on these streams. It's not a game. They don't care about you or what you say or do. It's not a joke. Respect yourself. Opsec is real. Understand the game that you're playing in, because I don't think a lot of people do. If they did, they wouldn't do a lot of the things that they do. You don't see me doing a lot of things you guys are doing. And that's not a hit against you guys. It's just take heed. Take very much heed, because it's real. It's cute at first, but then the feds don't like you. And then what? Right? Yeah, and that's what people don't. Yeah, that's what people don't think about.
So I posted I posted a tweet a little bit ago. I wanted to clarify something. I asked a question: how long is it going to take Hex to reach $1 trillion market cap? And then I've been looking through some of the responses on here, and I just got to remind.
Funny question, bro.
I just got to remind you guys that to get there, Hex has to go to $1.75. I mean, come on.
But here's the thing: how do we know that that's the case? We don't know that that's the case, right? We don't actually know that. The questions like that really irk me.
Well, here's the thing: you got to think about
staking.
If people are staking,
right?
yes, the supply goes down. But
Yeah.
76% of the supply we can relatively count on to be there and unstaked. So
Yeah. But that's
it
beside the
makes that
point.
metric a little easier to predict, right?
Not really, because what happens if everything changes? That's an assumption that everything stays the same, right? And we don't really know that. That's the problem with that question.
That bag,
That's
yeah. If you give it a long enough time frame, that bag's going to be diluted, and then there's more room for variables. So yes, that's totally true, and I'm
yeah,
glad that you're bringing that up because
that's the
that's
problem.
definitely something that needs to be clarified with that question.
Yeah, that's the
But if
problem.
you
That's why
think
I don't
about it,
like.
just
Go
if
ahead,
you
go
think
ahead, go ahead.
about just apples to apples, like if I said 1 year window, if we just gave it a 1 year window and the supply metrics stayed
Oh
roughly the
yeah,
same,
that
buck
doesn't matter.
75, that's not that hard.
Nah, that's
Now
fine.
you factor in what Wales is saying, and now you're getting into the deep game theory of the system and the supply dynamics.
Right.
And dude, this is getting
It's a whole nother
intricate
ball game.
at that rate.
So many
Yeah.
unpredictable variables. Yeah.
Right. It's a whole nother ball game at that point. And that's why I don't like talking about forecasts and all that stuff, because here's the thing. Look at what Hex is doing with no attention. Like I know people don't think about this shit because of the questions that we get. And this is one of them. Look at what Hex has done with zero attention, no eyes, no centralized help. People don't get it. Like, you guys still don't get it. 4 months into these streams, you guys still don't get it. This shit is a beast, and you don't realize it yet. You still, a lot of people still don't know what they own. And that shit is crazy, because what you own is the best thing in the market. Period. Look at what is done in the past week, in the past 2 weeks. People are pissed.
Never seen anything like it.
People
Been in
are
this game for
pissed.
5 years. Never seen anything like it.
What?
Glad I was all in.
Yo.
Glad I'm all in.
Hey, and it's that simple, right? It's that simple, bro. And people just whatever, man. Like, I'm mad, bro. Like, I should have been all in Hex, blah blah blah. Yeah, but you weren't, right? And that's the whole point, right? You just were not. So the question is, why? You think people aren't gonna fucking figure it out? You gotta be out your mind if you think people aren't gonna figure it out. Yeah, they're gonna figure it out. You think people like to be broke? I don't think so. What do you guys think? Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you guys think? I don't think people like to be broke. I think people are gonna ultimately figure out.
No, man, you said one thing that just changed my life, which was, and this was like a few months back, and it was like that the world is starved for yield, and that you're a wealth manager in New York, and you're saying the world is starved for yield, and then we're looking here at a thing that produces 13% for a day stake. I'm like, or however it plays out, and like, if you have a big enough bag, like if you have like a big enough bag of Hex, you can stake for 30 days and live off the 30 days rolling forever. Like, I don't. How can people not? How can people just? The problem is the language. There isn't a clear bridge between legacy finance and then explaining Hex in ways that legacy can quickly and be onboarded and understand it, because they have all that baggage of all the regulatory and all the clientele and all that stuff. When you don't need it with Hex, all you need is an individual to interact with the contract forever.
And that's the hardest thing for people to wrap their head around. That's going to be the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Most people, when I explain it, it's like, who's using the money, right? Who's using the money when you lock it? Like,
where's the 30% coming from? Where's this coming from? And you know what? Here's the thing. Those are the right questions to ask, because that was the main question to ask when BitConnect was popping off, right? Yeah. Every Ponzi scheme is discovered with that question, believe it or not, right? But the thing about it is that people don't know what the fuck a Ponzi scheme is. Believe it or not. If they did, they wouldn't call Hex a Ponzi scheme. Very simple stuff, right? Because a Ponzi scheme only works if people keep putting money into it, and those that are already in it then benefit from those putting money into it. You understand?
Yeah.
So a Ponzi only works if people are cashing out in real time. A Ponzi is only a Ponzi if someone is cashing out in real time. You can't lock money away for 15 years and think that's a fucking Ponzi. That makes literally 0 sense, because you're giving people 15 years to figure out what the fuck you're doing. How the fuck is that a Ponzi? Am I missing
longer
something?
pays better. How's that a Ponzi?
Right?
Yeah.
So like I was trying to figure out like, okay, let's theoretically say Hex is a Ponzi. So like it would mean that there's an infinite buy side, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
But anybody who's buying is benefiting. So
right. But think about it, right? Because yes, that implies somebody's always buying, but at the same time, somebody has to always be selling out. That's my point. Right? Somebody
by the
has
way,
to
we've been
always
seeing
be
some big
selling.
sells. Somebody doing
yeah.
500K yesterday or something like that. It was one candle. I watched it, and then it was
really
gone, and then it got eaten right up.
Yeah, I really need to start tracking these sales, because they're so irrelevant. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Like millions of dollars are being sold daily,
And it wicks right back up.
and it's like it didn't even happen. Irrelevant. And it's crazy, because that's exactly what I expected it to do, but I didn't think it would work that well. Like, the math is the math. I don't feel like a genius. I just told what the math was going to do. That's all. Right? Like, that's all. You just need to look at all the pieces to the puzzle, because it's not hard at all. Right? But if you're not looking, you're going to miss it, because a lot of people miss it. Right? This is why you have so many haters that hate Hex now, just because it's outperforming everything. I mean, it's funny, because all you had to do was read. Right? Like, this is how fucked up life is, right? All you had to do was read or look or choose not to be like everybody else, and you would have been fucking retired. But no, you had to be smart. You had to be that guy that knew exactly what was going on, all this and all that. Well, how'd that work out for you? Right? Because this is what people have to understand. You think you know what you don't know. That's dangerous.
Dunning-Kruger.
Boom.
Right?
And it's a dangerous game. And by the way, always be skeptical of even Hex, because it's, you know, you got to always live with a healthy amount of skepticism on everything, or you're going to end up getting washed away.
Yeah.
100%. And here's the thing, right? Even for me, it took me 60 days before I realized what I wasn't seeing in Hex that I needed to see. And then even after that, it took me another 30 to 60 days to understand the system fully, right? Where I understood longer pays better intricately, and I could explain it, how to my liking and all of that, right? So even for me, right, a supposedly smart guy, it takes time, right? Yeah. So imagine the average person that isn't trying to devote time, because this is what it's about, right? It's not about being smarter than anybody else, because that's irrelevant, because we're all fully capable of doing the same things. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. So that's clearly not the issue. The issue is whether we actually want it or not. That's the actual issue, right? Because it's very easy to want things. It's supremely easy to want things.
No, but you have to create. So I don't know how deep we want to go here, but this kind of
it's important to talk about, right?
Yeah. So like, we're all invested in like a product that monetizes time, right? Yep. And we do all have, we can all measure our time in a 24-hour increment, right? And we could all say that we all have the 24 hours that system measures, but in the reality, you don't really have. You have the now moment that you perceive, and that continues forward through time in a certain way. But that certain way is how you frame reality. And so what I'm saying to you is that you, through your divine will, or through your understandings, your learnings, through education of science, math, anything that you've gotten through this life, it can give you you're looking through a window frame, and it's like rose tinted glass, or however, each person sees through their own perspective. But it's relevant because if you want to be successful in this world, you need to pull it through the ether. You need to bring it to reality, and it's possible because you're not locked into a 24-hour time frame unless you choose to accept that as the only reality. So when you've ever, if you're an athlete or if you're a musician or if you're an artist, when you get in a flow state of mind, you're actually existing in an electromagnetic bubble that actually penetrates outside into physical reality. That's how we would perceive it. But what you're actually doing is you're creating like an energetic shield around yourself, so to speak. And I'm speaking abstractly about it, but what you're actually doing is you're pulling through these ethers, like your ability to produce success for yourself.
Yeah, it's called being in the zone, in layman terms. That's what that's called.
So, but in those moments, you'll hear people say like that time slowed down for them, or that time sped up for them. Like in an instant where a deer runs out in front of you and you're driving and you have to swerve to miss it, that amount of time can feel like an eternity as it's happening, because you're bringing your awareness all the way to the cutting edge of reality. And like we sit back and we're actually observers of our own reality. But what I'm saying is, if you fully push up against that wall, and that wall is your own self-defined limitations, you can actually break through the wall, and then you actually can exist outside of time itself, and perform for yourself a vision of a future that you want to create, and you can make it a reality. And that's what I mean. Hex is an option for you. So
yeah, it's actually true, right? Because, and let me explain how that's true, because I do it frequently. And let me explain how I do it frequently, because it's very, very true. And the thing about it is, until I went to the military and went through things I did not want to go through, because that's really the ticket. The ticket is putting yourself through situations that you don't want to go through. And it's like you don't realize that at the time, clearly, because who the fuck, right, joins the military in their right mind? I think most people don't. Most people join it just because they have to, or they're forced to, or they feel they have no other option. Like the average person is getting into the military for that reason, not for any other reason. So don't believe the hype. And I was no different. I had no ambition in the private sector. I just didn't care, right? So to me, I liked cars, whatever. That was the easiest option. I ended up picking a job that took me places I never anticipated. But that's the whole thing, right? You don't know where things are going to take you in life. That's the whole point, right? You don't actually know. And
but what you were saying earlier is that when you convince yourself that you know,
right,
you're losing the game.
Right. And that's the important thing, right? Because it's like, well, how do we go about making something a reality that isn't? Right? Because that's what it's all about, right? We buy Hex to stake that shit and fucking pay ourselves in the future, even though we don't actually know that that's what's going to happen. It's an assumption that we're making, right? And we're basing it on what we know based on the present point in time, right? And what we know in the present point in time is that immutable code means X, the contract is saying Y, and so far it has done Z, right? That's what we're banking on here. And that is something that I think isn't hard to see, right? It's just hard to really wrap your head around in a way that is simplistic, but also, what's the proper word? Simplistic but clear, right? Like concise type, right? Because it's so easy to get lost in the weeds, right? Oh man, this is gonna really, I can't wait to show you guys these charts. All right, this is gonna be the last chart I update because
I'm ready to go. Like I want to, like, dude, I don't think you understand. Like we're all pretty excited to see, because we haven't seen these charts in a while. So
yeah, I know it's been a minute. I've been on a hiatus.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I might have been peeking through. I might have been hacking into your computer and looking at your charts in secret. But I've seen some extra shit in there that you ain't been showing, and I'm kind of pissed about it.
Hey man, you know how that goes. You got to keep all the goodies to the chest sometimes, you know. But I got some stuff. It's been a while. You know, it's gonna be good. Just give me a minute to wrap this up here. I just want to get one more chart on here, and we'll be good to go. Because this man, look, people are they're gonna be shocked, right? Because I hope you guys have been reading what is a correlation. I've been keeping that slide there for very good reason. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I want you guys to really read this slide, understand what it's saying, at least as best as you can, and definitely pepper me with questions once I start going into it, because I don't want to leave anybody behind. I want this to be, because this is important now, because this is lending credence to the fact that we've been relaying for a long time to a lot of people, right? And it's the simple fact that HEX is not correlated, right? It's decorrelated. But what does that mean exactly, right? It's very easy to, you know, just think you know and you don't. And we all fall into that trap all the time, right? That's what these streams are primarily about for me, first and foremost, because, you know, you don't want to be the person giving out misinformation, plain and simple. That, you know, that's just my approach to things. I do my best to not have errors in my work, but you know, it's gonna happen. We're human. But it's important to understand what we're doing, right? Because that's how we define what's right, what's wrong, what's ethical, what's unethical, because you know, nobody here is selling anything, right? Like, we're just guys talking about whatever we're talking about. And that's the biggest difference, right? So, you know, with that, let's get into these charts, man. So as you guys see the first slide, what is a correlation? And simply, a correlation is a statistical relationship between two variables. Now, what is this relationship measuring? And it's measuring how related they are. A reading of 1 or 100% means that there is a 1-to-1 correlation between those two variables. Now, what that means is that when variable A goes up, variable B goes along with it, and vice versa. Now, let me just keep reading. Let me not get into that. A reading of -1 implies a negative correlation, meaning that the variables are not 1-to-1. And what that implies is that they move in their own opposite direction every time that they move, right? So let's say you got variable A, variable B. If variable A is moving left, variable B is going to move right. If variable A is moving down, variable B is going to move up. And that's what being negatively correlated means. Now, a reading of 0 implies no correlation whatsoever. Now, I say this every time I stream, and you guys see it every time I stream. That's what this means. Okay? So now we can no longer have a debate about how HEX is correlated to anything. It's clearly not. I just gave you the definitions. We're done. Have a nice stream, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm just kidding.
You fucking.
I'm just kidding.
Pranking me, man. Come on. I was like, what? I didn't get on here to look at a fucking.
All right. To listen to us talk about bullshit and not HEX for fucking however long.
Come on, man. Right? Where's the FOMO?
Right. It's been a whole hour and we even haven't talked about anything. So, but this is the whole point, though, right? It's literally that simple, but yet we still have people parading around talking about HEX is correlated to something. No, it's not. This is why. And you guys saw me write up the last bullet real time. This is coming straight from the dome. So if you want to check me, go ahead. Because these are the mathematical facts, not opinions. I don't have any opinions to give you. Rolling correlations are where people are getting that so-called positive or negative correlation between one asset and HEX, right? So rolling correlation are a fixed time series correlation calculation. Now, what does that mean? That means that you're not reading all of the plots as one. You're reading them in a time series, meaning you're recording the correlations across time, right? So as always, I like to use Fibonacci values. And in Legacy, 21 days is typically a month. So that's what I first went with. You know, I didn't think crypto 24/7, whatever, it's fine. So just take it as 3 weeks, take the 34 days as a month, the 55 days as 2 months, right? And Legacy, that's really like 3 months, because you got to realize it's 5 days a week, assuming, you know, no weekends and no days off, right? That's like 11 weeks. That's like 3 months. So that's like a quarter. So what are we looking at here? Because there's a lot going on here.
Okay, just
right?
could you just quickly verify this for me? So is this like okay? So when you're looking at this on a chart, you're going to see a range, right?
Yeah.
And one would be the top of the range, and negative
I'm gonna get into that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna get into that. So, like the definition goes, right? A reading of 1 implies a positive correlation, a perfectly positive correlation. A reading of -1 implies a perfectly negative correlation, meaning they move opposite, right? And here we have the scaling of -100, -1. So in math, 100% is the same as 1, right? 100% is the same as 1, because remember, we're talking about 100 cents as a function of 1. This is why we talk about pennies on the dollar. This is why we talk about percent, right? So 100% is the same as...
Would actually be the all-time high, right? Or no?
No.
On that chart you just showed. No?
Oh, actually, yes. On this chart,
yeah, it would be like
7.5%
cents or whatever.
It can only
would be
go to
100% of the all-time high, right?
Wait, what are you talking? I'm confused.
I'm saying like 100% should be on this like on this. Let's see what time frame. We're seeing a bunch of time frames here, but over the time frame we're showing. Yeah, I'm trying to.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. I'm gonna break it down because I know there's a lot going on here. So first things first, let me do this, because this is what I had to do this morning when I went over. Give me a second. I'm gonna remove the 55-day and the 34-day.
So like it's correlated 1-to-1 again. What are we comparing it to? ETH. Okay, so it's correlated 1-to-1 for like microseconds of time. It looks like
pretty much.
Yeah, at the top of the range there, you can see that it barely is ever. It goes there for like barely any time at all, and then it just shits the bed.
Yeah,
the correlation just shits the bed.
Down.
There's no corration. It's just literally like, oh, correlated, nope, not correlated forever. Oh, correlated, not correlated forever.
So check it out. I hate when this does this. Hold on. Yo, PowerPoint, man, is like my arch nemesis, I swear. This thing just never.
Hey, man, you do all right with it, I gotta say.
Well, I don't feel like I do. So here, all right, let's get into this chart. So very simply, we're gonna get into this, right? So what we're showing here is 21-day correlation and the hex price. Okay. Now this is a rolling correlation versus ETH in days, right? So the first plot is giving us the first reading after 21 data points for both Hex and Ethereum, right? So that's what plot 1 here is showing. Okay. And 2 is showing the same thing, but for 21 data points plus 1, right? Because we read these data points, there were 21 data points, and then we went to the next 21 data points, and then the next 21 data points, and so on and so forth. And that's what this whole reading is. A series of 21 data points across time from one instance in time, which in this time frame is daily, to another. Right, so I'm recording this across time every single day for 21 days. That's what this is showing us.
It's like a meta time. So you're actually 21 days of time measured within a day. It's like
it's one way of looking at it.
It's because like encapsulated time.
Yeah. Because this is 21 days, the first data point, right? It's 21 days. What has this correlation been telling us over the past 21 days? And at this point, is giving us a slightly negative correlation, right?
Yeah.
Slightly. It's very close to zero. So the first print is letting us know, yeah, this kind of does its own thing. They're not really related, but yet somehow they are, right? Because it's on the Ethereum network, right? But when it's down here, this is saying, well, price is going up because we have a positive slope here, right? Price is going up while the correlation is going down. And then now, as the correlation is going up, price is going down. So just this little thing here is letting you know how decorrelated Hex is to Ethereum. Now, this is just one slice of time, right? This is 21 days every plot, right? Now, I don't know if you guys know a little bit about integration, but this is important to understand. Yeah, I know this is getting a lot. Sorry, Hextoshi. But simply just remember, a reading of 1 implies a positive correlation, which means that the variables are moving in tandem, i.e. 1 to 1. A reading of -1 implies a negative correlation, meaning that they are not moving in tandem, that is opposite of each other, not 1 to 1. And a reading of 0 implies no correlation whatsoever, meaning that they move independently of each other. Independently of each other. I don't know where -0 is coming from, but nah, I don't know where this dude is seeing that at, because there's no -0s here. But yeah. So here's your -1. Here's your -1. Here is your 1. In order for Hex to be correlated to anything, it has to be 1 to 1, and it has to be along this line. No questions asked. That's what that means. Pretty plain. That's it. There's no more, no less. Now, if Hex was negatively correlated, meaning it moved opposite of Ethereum, it would be down here. That's it. Nothing else to discuss. That's exactly how it works. Not an opinion. That's how it works. Not my opinion. That's just how it works. Now, what does the 0 reading tell us? The 0 reading tells us that there is no correlation whatsoever. Hex does whatever it wants versus Ethereum. Ethereum does whatever it wants versus Hex. That is what the 0 reading is telling us. So, long story short, if you take this squiggly line and stretch it out, it has to give you a single value that measures this reading, does it not? Everything always does that. It's called an average, right? An amalgamation of data points always yield an average. Once you take all those points in time, across time, and average them, right? So that's what this chart is showing you.
Yeah, man,
this is the shortcut to that chart.
It's fun to watch.
0.
Look at the chart.
I bet it is.
Lines. And it's fun to look at the. It's fun to see when it's positively correlated, meaning they run together, and when it's negatively correlated. A lot of times when it's negatively correlated, Hex is moving up while the rest of the market is sitting still or going down. And that's what's causing those negative correlation spikes down. That's
right. So look at the most recent one, right? The most recent one started the other day, a couple weeks ago, while we were talking plenty shit about how everybody else's shit was getting smoked, and people were complaining about, people were fudding Hex on this little down move here. And don't tell me they weren't, because I was on Twitter smacking that shit the fuck down, because they were fudding it for this little microscopic move right here. This little shit move down to fucking 4 cents from 6. People were fudding their own fucking bags.
I know who you're talking about.
And this is exactly why I'm doing this motherfucking stream.
Yeah.
So the next time you see any fucking clown talk about Hex being related to any fucking thing, you shut that shit the fuck down ASAP. Because they're not the ones
kind of
watching
like a question. I know this is kind of going beyond the scope of just this chart, but let's say in a theoretical future that Hex became like the God market, right? And would mean that all other assets would start to correlate to Hex?
They would try, but they can't.
And what would that look like?
They can try, but they can't. And the reason they can is because they don't have. Hold on, we're getting there. Yeah, it's a lot of charts, guys. Hold on. They don't have that.
Because they don't have the whole T-shirt system that's unique and internal
truth
to
engine,
Hex. Yeah.
Fucking
Remember, guys,
Richard broke the matrix, bro.
it's always about the value proposition.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not to toot my own horn, but again, there is a reason I can publicly speak about Hex. I'm not a moron. Take fucking notes. Take fucking notes. I'm not a moron. If somebody is out here speaking publicly from Wall Street about something like this, you should take heed. Take heed. Hint, hint. Right? Hint, fucking hint. Money printers. You cannot legally counterfeit dollars. Yet, stablecoins exist. People don't get it. That's a contradiction, my friends. A major contradiction.
Yeah. You got me thinking about when I first learned about Tether. I was trading on Bittrex and I saw USDT and I was like, wait,
what the fuck is this?
Wait, I was no, well, yeah, but no, I was like, I was so confused because literally in my mind, that was like hacking everything to me at the time. It was like, why would they let you trade into a digital dollar to protect your? That was the whole point of Bitcoin, was that you that would become the world settlement, right?
Yeah.
And but with Tether, it became okay. Now everyone can dump their bags and be protected by this kind of cheat code. It was a cheat code to me. I was like, wait, Tether, like this Tether thing is like, it's like the way to save yourself is all it was. And to me, it was like, I don't know, man. It really threw me for a loop. Because I was like, this should be illegal, right? Or no?
Yeah. Because here's the thing, right? I remember when I first realized stablecoins exist, I was confused and perplexed because that's the whole purpose of XLM and XRP. People forget this. They're not fucking coins that are supposed to pump. They're transactional coins, strictly. I didn't even understand this at the time. So when stablecoins came out, I was confused. Why? Makes no sense.
Why would you need a transactional coin that's volatile? You wouldn't. There's no use case for it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
now when you have a USDC or a US Tether.
Hold on. You're confusing what you know for what was. Don't get it twisted. Those coins were not volatile at the time. Period. Look at the chart. They went fucking sideways for years. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, it's only when speculators realized that this could actually pump, or this could, be a use case for them, that they started speculating.
Those coins did not pump until 2017 bull market, period. Yeah. I was holding them because I didn't understand pumpamentals. Even though I understood markets, I didn't understand pumpamentals, right? And I was merely looking at the fundamental use case, not realizing the error in my assessment, right? And this is why I was able to hold that bullshit for so long. Otherwise, why the fuck would I hold that bullshit? Because it's a transactional coin. It's not supposed to go up.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be bought, sold, bought, sold, bought, sold. That's it. It's a settlement coin. It's like using dollars. Nobody uses that shit except to settle transactions. That's it. Right? Like, that's the whole purpose of the reserve currency, right? That's the whole purpose of the Fed having pricing control of the commodity we know as fiat currency, right? And if you haven't seen my central bank special, I highly suggest you go back and watch it, because I'm not going to break down things that I've already broken down in detail. It's not fair to all the viewers that are already up to date. So please do yourself the service. It's a service, yes, because it's free, of getting in tune with what the Federal Reserve is, along with the rest of the central banks in the global scope of things. Because while you might think one thing, it's entirely another. And you'll come to find out with my streams that a lot of things happen to be that way. Just like Hex being correlated to shit. Clearly, it's not correlated. And I just showed you.
Because your average here is obviously closer to zero. Yeah. Look at that. It's closer to zero.
Yeah.
So how do you take an average of something without actually doing the math? You look at all of the curvature under the lines, right? If the line is above the zero, you look at the curvature there. If the line's below the zero, you look at the curvature there. Now, our brains are well designed to recognize patterns, even though we think they are not. Because some people are very, what's the word? narrow-minded when it comes to their mental capabilities.
Or like they hinge on like chaos theory, where everything's random. The things are not random in nature.
Nothing is random. Nothing is random in nature. This is
There's
why Fibonacci
randomness
works.
built into the interactions within nature, but nature itself is not random.
So fractals, right? Fractals are random, believe it or not. But they're not. They're random and not random. How the fuck is that? Because nature is not random. That's how. Nature moves how it's going to move. It's merely a function of whether it can surpass it now or later. That's it. You know what I mean? And you know what? Let me do a chat roll call, because I wanted to do one at the beginning and I definitely just didn't do it. So let's do that. I know we're a little late for that, but why not? Let's just see who's in the chat. Shout out to the Sapper. Shout out to Crypto King, Ryan Cox. I haven't seen you before. Glad you guys can make it. There's a lot of people I haven't seen before. Sammy, welcome aboard, Sammy. Diamond Dad, cool name. I don't know if my kids would ever call me that. Hopefully I'm that good. What's up, Hex Mac Blue Bum? Marco, what's good, brother? Uche Chukwuka. I hope I said
Silver
that right.
Sailor, what's up, brother?
Yeah. Kamiya, Hex Softball, what's going on? Reggie Bone, I know you here, brother. I seen you earlier. Sammy, what's up? On Feet, Crypto Games Club, Graphene. Man, we got a whole lot of heads up in here. Hex Toshi, I already shouted you out. What's up, Bruss? And M&A is always on deck. Crypto 303 always on deck. Timothy, shout out to you, my friend. Glad you can be here. Alto Matorka, love the name, man. That's some crazy shit.
Brand,
Benny
brother.
Bills, yeah, Benny Bills is on deck.
Benny Bills.
Benny Bills.
Hazius R, okay, I haven't seen you before. Welcome aboard, Crypto Learner. I always see you on deck. Despierto Jefe.
Em, what's up, brother?
What's up. Yeah, that's what's up. Scam Face, okay.
Johnny No Good.
Johnny No Good. What's up, Johnny No Good? Sea Chef. I like the name. I just had some banging seafood yesterday. Dodeca. Eximus Deximus. Let's see who else is here. Typed Emotion. Interesting. Interesting name. I don't think I could ever do that one. Smoothie. What's up? Typed Emotion. That's just crazy. You know what I mean? All right. Yeah, that's pretty much. No, I don't want to waste too much time on that.
It wasn't personal.
Yeah, we missed you. Is not
I literally,
personal.
if I click like the participants thing, I only see a few people. I only see like, I don't see everybody.
You know, that doesn't give everybody. Yeah, it doesn't give
it's
everybody.
pretty inaccurate.
Yeah, it's extremely inaccurate. Trust us. What's up, man? This is extremely inaccurate. Nas Hex, what's up, man? Hex Mile, what's up? Yeah, this is not everybody, because we have supposedly 100+ people on here. 114. This isn't even showing 30. So, yeah.
So if we didn't mention you, we love you and thanks for.
Yeah,
for
well,
listening.
I
appreciate
a lot
it.
of people. Yeah, I appreciate everyone that comes and watches the streams, because, you know, I'm over here scolding people and, you know, being a freaking teacher. I'm not talking FOMO, even though this really is FOMO stuff. But, you know, it requires some effort to realize that it is FOMO stuff. And I know it's not. I know it's not hard. That was funny. You talked to me. That's cool. You guys are funny, man. I'm just a regular dude, man. We're all just regular guys. Like, just stop
regular
it with all that.
AF.
Regular AF is right. Yeah. I still work and all of that. You know, I'm just
the more I know, the more regular I feel.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know what? The more alien I feel too at the same time. I don't know. It's a weird way to describe it.
That's a paradox for sure, because it
is a paradox.
Like, you're the one alienating yourself out here, calling people out.
Yeah. That's damn right. Ain't it damn right? Man, it's crazy.
Someone's got to do the hard work. I get it.
Yeah.
Dead
I'm going to be the dickhead. I'll bring you back to center, all right?
Hey, shout out to Dead in Denver. What's up, bro? Nice name, man. Hope you flying mile high, like they say. Yeah, I heard Denver's up there now with the cloud. You know, we like clouds here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like clouds here. So yeah, guys, we're gonna get back into the.
We're talking about rolling correlations on HEX. We're trying to figure out well, I mean, Vince and I are trying to like look at this, and Wales is kind of showing us how Hex runs with in correlation with and then completely against all the time. And so what it ends up being is an average that it's just simply not that correlated to anything.
Correct. And again, the important thing to understand is what determines a correlation and what determines no correlation, right? And just to go over that again, correlation of 1 or 100% means a 1-to-1 correlation, meaning it's hugging this line all of the time, never deviating, ever, okay? And now what I didn't get to do that I need to do, that I will do before the stream is over, because it really won't take much time. I just need to do it, is show you guys a correlation between the T-share rate, the T-share dollar value, because that shit is going to be critical, right? I'm here talking about correlations, what they are and what they aren't. And I really want you guys to see the correlation between HEX dollar value, T-share dollar value in conjunction with the T-share rate, right? Because I think that's going to be key, just to see a positive correlation, like a true one, right? That we know is actually true. I think that's going to be eye-opening for a lot of people. Because right now, my whole objective is to show people that, sorry guys, that HEX is not correlated to anything. And we're going to go through a whole bunch of charts showing just that. This chart is just the first one. This is basically the first one because HEX is on the Ethereum network for now. So that's the one we need to focus on, because that's the one that people love to say it's correlated to. And I just showed you it's not. And that's just chart 1, right? And this is just with the 21-day correlation. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to make it such that it's only the 34-day correlation. So the curve is going to be a little shorter, but it's going to basically be the same thing, right? And this is what I need you guys to understand. Hold on, guys. It's fucking, the world is ending here. Hold on.
It's all right.
Somebody dropped a pan.
Literally. All right. They went the other way. I mean, this is, it's never ending here, man. Come on, PowerPoint. Jesus Christ. All right. Let me see if I can get this damn thing to work for me. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. Give me a second. Just lining this bad boy up. All right.
Have we ever considered drawing trend lines on this chart? Because we're making higher lows on the negative correlation right now. Does that mean that the world's starting to correlate to HEX, or what?
Right.
You start doing TA on the correlation.
That's what I'm saying, man.
You never know. And that's a dangerous thought, right? Because people like to do funny stuff like that. Yeah. And the reason I call it funny stuff is because you have to understand, and this is the biggest thing. And I didn't go into it at first because I really want people to get comfortable with the idea of what a correlation is, what it truly is, right? There's a difference between a rolling correlation and an actual correlation. A rolling correlation, now let's just, me, I like to look stuff up in people's faces so they can see I am not making stuff up. Rolling correlation. All right, this is good enough. All right. Rolling correlations are between 2 time series on a rolling window. One benefit of this type of correlation is that you can visualize a correlation between 2 time series over time. That's all you need to know. Let's read another definition. Let's see. This is just...
This is the code about how to do it, or something?
Yeah, this is Panda related. So this isn't going to give us what you guys need. This isn't going to give us it either. Come on. Now all of a sudden,
You must have been trying to code this stuff up lately, huh?
Well, no, it's just assuming that I am. I guess it's whatever I be doing on here. It just seems like
The
that.
universe is speaking to you.
Apparently, I've been trying to avoid coding for a while. And just keep getting thrown back in my
Yes,
face.
you have. Come on, man. All right.
Yeah, I keep trying to fucking not do it, and it's like, nope, you get no outs.
I will donate to you if you get a website put together. And if you need help, I'm sure there's people in the community that would help.
Yeah, no, I plan to. I plan to. I just wanted to wait for the Pulse chain because I don't want to deal with the APIs and all of that. Like it'll be a whole lot cleaner once you're using one data source versus having to pull from multiple data sources. But I don't fucking know. Maybe I'm just wrong on that shit. I just haven't even tried, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we can. You've been a busy guy, and I think it's something worth looking at in the future. So
yeah, for sure. I plan to. All right, let's see. So don't feel like I'm not. I definitely want to. It's just a matter of course, finding the time. Okay, let's see if we have it here. Rolling. All right, let's see. No, this is just this is annoying. All right, I guess that's the only definition we're gonna get apparently. Mathematica. All right, sorry if this gets a little technical. Just give me a second. Just want to look for.
Rolling window performance analysis. Yeah, that makes
sense. This gets too. Yeah, I didn't want to.
It's not technical. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just.
It's the same thing. It's just the jargon gets funky. You know, when the jargon gets funky, like, look, I taught myself math.
To me, it's more of a comp sci.
Yeah. Like, look, I taught myself math, so anytime the verbiage gets funky, you know, it used to freak me out. Like, what the fuck? I was just reading this. What the hell is that? You know what I mean? So, you know, when it comes to math, it's very scary because everybody has their own language. And, you know, the hardest hurdle for me personally was realizing that everybody's saying the same thing. Right? Because you come across two different words not realizing they're the same thing. And that shit will fuck you up when you don't know what you're looking at. And that was me for a while. So,
that's a natural part of getting into something in the early stages, right?
Yeah.
It takes a long time to build a foundation.
For sure. Yeah. And this is what I want people to understand, right? Like I'm walking in here, it's making it sound easy or complex, but it's not. You know, it took a long time to be able to sit here and whip up all this shit on the fly, right? Like I need people to understand I don't really prepare for these streams. Like I whipped them up literally as I'm either talking to you on the stream or right before. Like I only have but limited amounts of time. Yeah. So the important thing to realize is that when you learn something properly, you can do it in 30 minutes or less like me. That's the whole point, because it's not about what you know. It's about what you don't know. And I'm merely showing you what I do know so that you see what I don't know, because I don't know a lot of things. But I do know that Hex is not correlated to any fucking thing. And that is what you need to take home with you tonight, because that's a fact.
You definitely made that clear to me already. Like, I was like, wow. I mean, any kind of confusion I had coming into this stream has been, you know, I'm solid on it now. Yeah, Hex is correlated completely.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's critical, right? It's very critical to understand, because what you guys need to realize is that people on Wall Street spend their lives preaching diversification and all that beautiful crap that come out of a textbook, looking for just this squiggly line that they can't find anywhere because it doesn't exist. And the reason it doesn't exist, damn right I'm whipping that work. And the reason it doesn't exist is because people do not realize what I'm about to show you. Now, because now I think after looking at this chart, 34 days, right, 21 days, I think I can get rid of this top layer, right? Get rid of that layer, and we can now look at this and realize what's happening, right? Because this is still the same Ethereum chart, but this is with everything on it, right? The 21-day, the 34-day, and the 55-day rolling correlation, right? Because at the end of it all you're seeing is that all these lines are going up and down around what? the zero line.
Yep.
And those are the facts, Jack.
You know what?
And
you know what? When we
why-
get a negative correlation next, it's going to be because the market's going to dump and Hex is going to go do like a 20x.
Well,
I don't know.
let's take
I'm
a
just
look at
pulling.
that.
I'm pulling a number out of my ass. But my point is that Hex is going to rally like you've never seen.
Are you really? Here's the pump.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. Well, we got a fractal coming, right? So
we're already in motion, my friend.
Yeah, we're in the
We're already in
parabola, as
motion.
Crypto Coffee likes to say.
This was the start of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
I know people didn't want to believe me.
I'm seeing like $1 to $2 by like September.
This
like
is the start of it. You know, I know people didn't want to believe me, but I've been talking about this for weeks. This is the start of it. I did a whole special just on fractals, just for this reason. Everything Wells tells you is on the tape. Don't get it twisted. Your boy talked about this weeks ago, before I went on vacation. So
yeah, we did that fractal video.
That's right. We did that fractal.
It did happen. It's in the inventory if you guys want to go back and look at it.
It's there. So look at what happened here. Dump again. Right? Now, same thing here. It went the opposite of the market. Right? Let's look at all the dumps. It's always going opposite of the market, right? Every time correlation goes to zero, Hex is doing its own thing.
Yeah.
Now, it's on you to analyze exactly what and where, right?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Always, when, at least recently, when you get these dumps, they're on down moves for Hex.
Yeah.
Right? Look at that. Right? And this one started a little bit after the down move happened, but it actually started into the end of the up move. Right?
Yeah.
So these are like nuances, right? They don't really matter. And that's the funny thing. They don't actually matter because let's look at when Hex correlation to the market goes positive. It's when it's going up. Mostly, at least recently, right? That's the case. So it looks like now the correlation is turning positive. Maybe the bottom is in for Hex, and we're going to just keep going higher, right? Like, there's so many ways to dissect this data, but you can't read too much into it because it changes over time.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Like,
you know,
it's like about where you're at in the chart. So, like, if you
Correct.
come closer to modern time, like this is at a breaking out. This is like a profit taking at an all-time high at 2 cents or whatever.
Yeah.
When it goes negative correlation here at it was back up.
And then that where Wells
right there
pointing at in the middle is like the big payday
right here.
Right.
This is so it goes negatively correlated because it's just simple. We just broke out at all-time high, so we just had some profit taking. So the rest of the market must be moving up.
Yeah.
This is big payday right here, right? Look at how drastically it just reversed the correlation for the market, right? Just one shot, one kill. Look, and they did the same thing here. Like, this is crazy, right? I mean, you know, zero. Like, I really need you guys to understand. All these lines are saying, right, is just that. Literally. Hold on. I'm trying to get these.
System is so deep, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really is. You know, and it's like no matter how we slice and dice this bad boy, it's a winner. And that's the thing people need to understand. Right? Like, this thing is no joke. And it's not because I say so, it's because the math says so. Like, you know, you can lie to yourself, but the chart doesn't care about that. It honestly does not. Right? So you have to really be honest with yourself and be like, well, what do I care about? Being right or making money? And I don't know about you guys, but I choose the side of making money. That's just me. I have no interest in ideologies or any of that. Right? And as always, correlation is zero. We just went over that. Right? And just so you can look at the rolling correlations versus Bitcoin, I mean, again, rotates around zero.
You can see in the early days, you know, when Bitcoin was the only trading pair, or one of the major trading pairs, how it was more positively correlated. But over time, as we traded on Uniswap and other things, it went closer to zero.
Sorry, guys. But yeah. A very good call, because that's exactly what it was, right? It can only trade versus so many pairs at the beginning, right? And even though it started negative on Ethereum, it ultimately went positive for that very reason, right? But that's the thing. It's important to understand the why behind these things, right? It's very, very easy, very, very easy to get confused, right? Like, yeah, it's correlated here, sure.
Dude, this
But
chart is so significant. I don't mean to cut you off, but dude,
no,
like,
no. Go ahead.
there's only been 3 times where we've really ripped low negative correlation, and I just in most recent time here, look at how low we ripped. This is us surviving crypto Armageddon and holding our own as our own asset, as Hex is its own asset,
That's
protecting itself against Bitcoin's volatility to the downside. That's why you get that rising wedge pattern as we're holding in structure and creating structure for this next major fractal that's about to play off, which will make it even more negatively correlated theoretically, unless the rest of the market can move. However, as we spoke about a little bit over an hour ago, we actually think that there might be more of a flush coming for the rest of the market. So it would make the correlation more negative. That's my point.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming. We've talked about it on the Quant Gang stream. We've talked about it all over.
I hope it holds
Asian
up till
stream.
Tuesday. You know, Tuesday. I mean, I got some ETH right now that I don't want to dump and shit the bed, but it is what it is.
Good luck, bro, because it's not looking too hot.
No, and I think it's going to be brutal, but
yeah.
No, I think it can hold. I think it can hold in this like triangle. I think it can make one more try up to like 2,800.
That's your Huckleberry. This is
Trust
your
me,
Huckleberry.
I'm not gonna make this. Yeah, for sure, dude.
That's
I'm so fucking yoked, bro.
Can't tell me shit. So let's take a look at these spreads real quick.
By the way, yeah, it's definitely. I'm in a risky position right now. So
yeah, look at that.
As long as you know what you're doing.
Yeah. So look, I typically like to wait for not the RSI, sorry, the MACD to at least come close to 0, and have it coincide with a touch on 0 if it is really a bull run, right? And let me show you guys what I mean. Yeah, this is actually a good. No, it's not. Hold on. Where are you? Okay. So this is a pretty good example, right? Here you have the MACD crossing over. We're expecting a base touch for, a touch and go. So what you want to see is the MACD doing that, right? Bottoming out with a change of color, right? And then with that, you should see the RSI coinciding to bottom out as well. And that's how I use them in tandem. And it'll be kind of the same thing in reverse, right? When we were looking for tops, I was looking for that color change. I was looking for that divergence, right? Not just that, but also the divergence in price action, as well as what was actually going to be the thing to tip the market over, right? And anytime you see candles like this, right, like this big red candle right here, where the range, it's called the outside candle, where the range for this candle obliterates the previous one and reverses the trend immediately, that's an outside candle, an outside reversal candle to be technically correct, but I just like to call them outside candles because what you're seeing is that the range for this specific candle is $28.89 versus the previous one. Oh, that's the change. I'm sorry. The range here is, let me do some quick math. 36 is 100 minus, what is this? 1585 bucks versus, what is this? 60, 70 bucks previous range. So that's a pretty sizable clip outside of the previous day's range. To then have the market come back and reverse all the way and close lower is a very bearish signal, right? And this is what you saw there, here, right? You see this all the time. And this is how it's easy to pick these types of moves in crypto. But again, you have to be wary of the exchange you're using and whether if it's safe or not, because they don't give a shit about you. They will get you out of there, and take your money because they are the exchange. and they can do whatever they
Dude,
want.
26.5, I think will hold, but you could wick below. But I think it's going to be pretty strong support down there. This was my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I like this area. Actually, let me put on this indicator that I never actually show because it's a whole nother thing within itself. And now it doesn't want to show. Why is that?
Oh, the volume price,
volume profile. Yeah, this is my favorite actually. This is how I'm able to pick very precise levels outside of this, but this actually tracks that. And we shouldn't really, according to what I'm seeing here, we shouldn't go lower than 30K. Now, if we do,
watch out.
Watch out. And the easiest way to understand this graphic on the right side here, excuse me.
I would say that's true of legacy finance, but dude, because it's crypto and because it does take extreme volatility to upside and downside, like beyond your wildest dreams, I do see, yes, 30K should not break, right? So then in crypto, yes, it will break, right? It'll wick to 26.5, and then it'll go.
It'll do the.
It's always just a little bit
opposite
extra because it's a free market, so everyone wants to get a little bit more out of it. Greedy fuckers.
Yeah, well, get what you pay for, man.
Dog shit.
Yeah, you get what you pay for, and that applies to crypto also. Hold on, man, because this thing
I always learn so much when I'm on with you guys. I love it. Thank you.
It's hard not to want to learn, man. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to want it, man, because a success is only defined by what you're able to learn, right? It's not by what people think of you. It's not by any of that, because none of that defines any of the actions or what your legacy is, anything like that. What defines it is what you're actually able to accomplish in real time, right? And this is why your bank account matters more than any letters at the end of your name, right? If letters at the end of your name made you rich, well, then we all be going to fucking grad school and not buying crypto.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking straightforward.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a guy that could have went and got a math PhD, so hear me out. You know what I'm saying? Opportunity costs. Don't forget that. So while you'd rather be sitting in grad school wasting time, life is passing you by. And the real world doesn't care that you're in grad school. The real world is moving. So back to this. Volume profile is just another way of looking at the market statistically. So what does that mean? Let's give this a 13 days per candle. So now we're looking at the entire market profile for this market. So if the market was to ever go into a crash scenario of biblical proportions, you want to buy at 250. That's what this is saying. Because that is the range, that's the area that gives you the highest node. And what that means is that that's where the most trading volume happened, at 250. Now, back in the day, I think it might have been, let me get the actual.
This is just Coinbase volume,
yeah,
right?
This is just Coinbase.
Is there BLX does it all? That's just.
I don't know if BLX has this shit.
Oh my god, look at that, dude.
I don't know if this is accurate. I don't know if this is accurate though.
It might not be, but either way, like, that's interesting to me, dude. I never went back and looked that far back on that indicator.
Oh, volume profile is my shit, bro. This is I live and die on this hill.
I mean, I looked at it basically only from like 2018 at the 6K breakdown to 32. That's when I started looking at it. So like I never really went back and saw where all the volume was. But look at Bitcoin stopped being cool like under $1,000 or over $1,000. Like people, any smart money didn't really, or there was just less traded there, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of almost feels like a Ponzi when you look at that. I'm dead serious. Look at the fucking volume right there.
Oh, don't piss the maxis off, man. They might be watching.
Sorry, maxis. I used to be I mind the shit out of that, dude. I put hundreds of thousands of dollars into Bitcoin.
This is Coinbase. So I went back to the Coinbase version. All right, this is the Coinbase version. Look at the volume now. All right. Not much different. Not much different. So.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So if you think about it, right, a normal curve, let's pull up, oh wait, I'm already on the web, sorry. What is it called? Normal bell curve, right, is defined as an area that shows you the 61.8%, yada yada, blah blah blah, right? So it's this, right, but sideways. That's what you're looking at. You guys have to realize there's no such thing in the real world. This does not exist. This is reality. This is not reality. This is fiction. You know, the odds of finding a perfectly distributed bell curve in nature is, I think, zero. I can't think of anything right now off the top of my head that actually displays that, because even Hex doesn't do that. Hex has a P bell curve, if it gives us that. It's basically this. It's just a positively skewed bell curve. Make sure this isn't here. Ignore it. So just meaning like, let me see if I can just find a better chart, because this shit sucks. What do they call it? Kurtosis? I think it's called kurtosis when you're measuring the skewness of something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Just give me a minute. I haven't been like a stat whiz in about a few decades. So, nope, it's not kurtosis. So, oh no, it is kurtosis. Okay. Yep. All right. So, oh, actually, no. Skewness is the term. Wow, I really didn't think that was a term, because that's what they use in finance. But all right, I guess they use it in math too. So the skewness is what we're talking about, not the kurtosis. Sorry, the kurtosis is the amplification, not the distribution. So sorry about that. The skewness, here we go. This is a good one. A positive skew is gonna tell us. It's just like I talk about all the time when we're talking about the returns. This is what I mean, right? When somebody is looking at where do the returns lie on the positive and negative spectrum, right? This is clearly not worded in the way that we would normally think about it, because this is, of course, statistical verbiage. So let me see if I can find a graphic that makes more sense to not confuse people. But I guess we're not going to find that.
What are we comparing this in relation to?
The hex returns and how they're always positively skewed. But the thing about it is that in statistical terms, it's negative skewness, because it's to the right of the symmetrical line. Whereas
I'll just note that the negative skewness reminds me of BPD run up, post BPD run up, and then a quick sell down. And then positive skewness is pretty much everything we've done at a breakout, huge upside, and then bull flag, and then huge upside. And
right. But this is what Hex is. Right. It's positively skewed, but you know, this is what we're seeing here, because all of the returns are in the right upper quadrant. Right. Like the majority of Hex's returns are the right side of zero.
Yeah.
That's key. Because when somebody comes and does this measure, they're checking skewness of the returns. This is what I'm talking about. Right? What is skewness? Let's look at what that is by definition. Just really quick. Where is it? Skewness is measured as a coefficient with the ability for the coefficient to be positive, negative, or zero. The coefficient of skewness is a measure for degree of symmetry in return distribution. It allows investors the ability to determine where the majority of returns are going to fall, and also point out outlier events. So here, it actually gives us the positive skew. But what we have to realize is how this is reading it, right? This is saying all of the returns happen quickly.
Yeah.
Because this is time.
It's true. I mean, look at my bag.
This is price. Yeah, this is price, right?
Yeah.
So that's something we have to understand, right? Just to get the confusion out of the way, because we don't care about that. We care about where the distribution, where the return. Like we care about. Consider this for Hex Ignore this T. This is really the return spectrum, right? This is what really the return spectrum is. Now, if we look at this as Hex versus Ethereum or Bitcoin, then this is going to be negatively skewed, but really positively skewed, because the positive direction is going to be the same, right? But all of the returns are going to be in the upper quadrant, in the positive area, right? So it's important to understand what this is measuring.
It's just saying that Hex is making very quick gains on whatever you're comparing it to.
Right. This is literally just measuring how positive it is. This is why it doesn't make sense. This is measuring how positive it is, right? Because here we're just seeing that it's positive. Here it's measuring how positive it is in a graphical sense. That's all, right? Because it's just a way to read the distribution of the monthly returns, right? So if the distribution of the monthly returns lie greatly within 1 or 2%, which is what this is showing us, then the skewness is going to tell us, all right, most values are concentrated on the left of the mean, with the extreme values to the right. That's what positively skewed means, right? So it's describing the nature of where the returns are falling, not so much that it's not positive.
Like the speed at which those returns are met and how high they go, right?
Right. Like most values are concentrated left of the mean, meaning over here, with extreme values to the right. It's literally talking about just the distribution of the returns over time, right? And that's it. And where they're falling in conjunction with that direction.
This is just literally patterns that show you the relative bullishness or bearishness. So negatively skewed is like how quickly are people willing to dump, and how slowly are people willing to dump. Like in Hex, it just seems like people are not motivated to sell, whereas with other coins, like we just saw a huge just auto dump out of fear. I don't think Hexicans are scared people. I think that they understand that this asset has a long-term value proposition, which is why you're seeing that positive skew against pretty much everything you want to compare it to.
Correct.
It's the fastest appreciating asset, right? So it would make sense that it's got a positive skew.
Correct. Well, not just that, but I think the design of the staking system and the whole punishment system for staking early also kind of plays into that.
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
You gotta appreciate that. I appreciate it. I agree with the notion of how it's set up, because that's the point. Everybody wants to replicate Bitcoin bull, part 2, but nobody's willing to put in the work to actually make it happen. Well, guess what? Hex makes it supremely easy for you. Thank Richard. Stop being a hater, because that's what everybody really wants, right? I know that's what I want.
Really, it's the interest rate that's drawing people in. I know it's definitely what drew me.
Thing. They don't know, right? Like they don't know that this is Bitcoin part 2, only better. Bitcoin the sequel, only better. That's all Hex is, man.
There's a reason. In order for that interest rate to come down, the only way for that interest rate to come down big time is like to see massive price appreciation on Hex. That's it. Because it's a consequence of people coming in to steal yield from you as a Hexican. They're going to have to buy a lot of coins up, and they're going to have to motivate you to sell at some price. And they're going to be pushing up share price, dude. It's the positive feedback loop on this thing is like crazy. Unbelievable.
It's so brilliantly designed.
Yeah, it is. And again, this is all math. When you can read that math, it makes everything easy. And this is why I was motivated to do the things that I did, because people had to realize this. Like, it's one thing to talk about it, right? Because everybody always says it. But to see it real time, when nobody was doing that.
Major game changer for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to
get clarity, bro. The clarity.
It's critical. Look, now, this is all green. It used to be one red.
Wow.
And this is going to be the norm now, right? And heck, Bitcoin might catch up again, but once we go, we're gone. It's left behind forever. People don't get that.
Dude.
This is only 194 days.
We just executed, and 6 months ago, we executed 3 Bitcoin halvings in one day.
One shot.
And now, and 6 months later, now modern time, we just are outperforming it. So there's nothing left to push us back down. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's a special supply dynamic in Hex right now where the amount of coins available is it's not favorable for people who don't have the coins. It's favorable for people who have the coins. And it's set up that way because we also we have leverage too. So the leverage as a hexagon is you can stake them or you don't have to, but either way you have the leverage of either you can wait for price appreciation or you can stake. But either way you're going to win. It's all about winning with Hex. We have 2 options, whereas anybody on the outside has 0 options, but they have to burn their dirty fiat into Hex. That's what their option is.
Well, that is their only one option.
That's the only option they have. Like it's like a forced their hand type of situation where if you're in crypto and you're not seeing this, like you're gonna eventually have to buy higher.
Yep. You're missing out big time. I mean, and that's just what it is, right? Hex does its own thing. Every chart you're about to look at, this is versus the SPY ETF, which is just an ETF for the S&P 500. Now, take a good look at this, because this is game changing. Now, why is that? This is versus the NASDAQ ETF, NASDAQ 100, which is tech stocks.
It just means we're gaining on those things massively.
In a way that motherfuckers cannot fathom. Look at the negative correlation.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The fuck them hoes go, man,
just
look.
They're just looking in the rearview mirror waving to them.
Look at this thing from March. Look at this thing from March, bro.
That's crazy.
Like,
we're probably overdue for a massive sell-off if you didn't understand the fractal that we were in.
Yeah, you would think that.
Yeah. That's why you see people thinking drawing pictures of M's and us going back down to 2 cents or 1.5. It's like because they don't know that we're in the middle of a special supply dynamic.
Those charts.
That was funny. That was funny because again, it's important to realize what you don't know, right? And most of these cats out there thinking that they know crypto don't know shit. And this is what's important for people to realize out there charting crypto. You don't chart that shit if you don't know what you're charting, because you end up looking like a moron. Just like any other person that thought that they could short Hex or call a short or sell their Hex or whatever.
No.
It makes no sense unless you need it for a financial reason. Literally does not. Because then what you're doing is you're throwing away something that provides a positive return. Guaranteed, basically. If an investor looks at this chart, he's throwing all of his money at it. All of it. And this is versus Bitcoin. Number one. That's a fact because of the skewness of the returns. We already went over this. You know what I mean? Like it's... note, never 100%, never minus 100%, right? Important. This is versus Bitcoin over 21, 34, and 55 days, as Hex is only going up and to the right. Everything else is falling and trying to get up around it. Against SPY, same deal, around 0. Never -1, never 1. Not even close, really. It tries to get to 90%, but Hex is just going up, and SPY is always going up, right? So whatever, because they're printing the shit out of dollars.
Yeah, well.
Right? They're printing the shit out of dollars, and those dollars, as I've already described, is going straight into the market. Because who's getting those dollars? The players on the team. It's not any of us. If they're passing the bill for $6 trillion, your ass is seeing half a fucking trillion if you're lucky. That's it. If you're lucky. It might be $250 billion. Probably less. Because let's be honest, it's highway robbery and everybody just thinks it's okay. It's nothing else. Facts are facts. The last time I checked, I'm not okay with it, but everybody else seems to be. So it is what it is, right? But just look at how this shit, man, this is just crazy. Like, I just put these charts together. I haven't really looked at them. I just made sure the math was right, the code was right, and that was it. The formulas was right, and that was it. So
this one I'm gonna
yeah,
have to look at a little more, but yeah, nothing comes
well,
directly to mind. But
yeah, well, it's
it's
just
just all it's telling me is that money's being pumped into both at the same time.
sometimes because negative
On the
correlation.
SPY. Back one chart, this
No,
one.
not really.
They were making
Because
kind of higher lows there, and they were just getting
look at
closer
the
to zero
21-day
correlated.
correlation. Look at the 21-day correlation.
Mhm.
It's pretty range bound. It's
That's
the
true.
longer term correlations that are contracting. Not really sure why. Let me look. The 55-day one is very interesting. But it seems like it does that and then it just collapses, right? Like it has that same tension here that you're seeing here. But I'm thinking that here, because I think just not to get on into legacy stuff, but just we're talking about it. So let me get rid of this. Get rid of this. All right. Now look at this bad boy. This is the bottom, March 2009. This is what a one-way market looks like. This is 13 days per candle. This is going on. Well, hell, we don't got to guess. Let's just measure this shit.
Mhm.
Wow. 4,456 days. Wow.
It's a long ass stake, bro. Imagine your hex being staked out like that and seeing that kind of chart in 4,000 days.
Yeah, but look at how weak
That's
the
nuts.
price action is. It's only fucking 5x, bro. I'd be pissed.
True.
If I was holding something for fucking 10 years and only did a 5x, I'd be pissed.
Well, it's better than precious metals that just went down.
I mean, I guess. But we just did 5x in like a week.
Just imagine if that chart was the hex chart. That would be what would the gain be on that number of X's would be crazy.
Oh man,
crazy.
I don't even know. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Insane. It would be insane.
Because that volatility and those huge price swings is like baked into what hex is right now, and it probably will be for the foreseeable future. You know.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I want to point out to people is just be cognizant of the long, drawn-out trend, especially one that's reaching the top side of his MACD reading area, which is 4. Right? We seem to always kind of top out around here. So, you know.
When that blue crosses the red, watch out.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'll put Kareem's favorite on here, DMI, just to see what it's looking like. Now we have a very nice negative divergence building here, right? And a very, very... Is that... What the hell am I looking at here? Oops. Shit went down. Oh, yeah. From February 18 to now. Oh, yeah. So if this thing ends up being an actual top, we're definitely going to breach previous lows. Yeah.
That's kind of what that Dent character was saying, was that we were going to go down and basically breach.
Yeah, but he's fucking... The problem with his analysis is that he's just assuming it's going to happen. I'm saying
he's got no defined time frame. He's like, let's short everything on the way to 10 years into the future when it finally happens.
Yeah, no,
or whatever.
Fuck that. Nobody has time for that,
it's
right?
It's not a good strategy. Like, watch the fuck out, dude. Listening to people like that. But I do agree that everything looks manipulated after that, because it looks like there's, if you just like bring your cursor to the price point of 290-ish, that floor there, if you just draw a straight line there, it's like a floor that was trying to be manipulated to be created there. Like, it's because you're getting these wild swings, but it's not real, it's artificial. It's so everything that we're doing up here.
Look at how it gapped. That's a great eye, right? Because look at how it gapped down right here at 290. Not a coincidence, my friend.
Does not feel good about it. There's just I don't feel good about the stock market at all.
Not a coincidence. And hold on, because this is how it starts. You already had a nice fuck you move. That's how it starts. Remember how I went over this with Bitcoin? I explained it to you guys. That's how it starts. Right? And it started back in February. First fuck you move. Then the second one. And then the last stake in the heart. So understand what's going on no matter where you're at. Right? This is number one. You don't just get dumps like that.
Does this happen because of like it's essentially what it is it's like a liquidity crisis? That people are pulling so much liquidity out of the markets that there's nothing left for the people still in it? Is that what's going on when you see this type of stuff?
So what you got to understand is that so let me explain, because this is going to require, it's not a simple answer. And the reason it's not a simple answer is because of all of this. You know, central banks are fully invested in maintaining the charade. They have to. They have no choice, because that is the party line.
Yeah.
Stocks up, economy up. Period.
Inflation has to go somewhere.
Correct. So the fact of the matter is, we know the economy is down and the stock market is up. How is that? Right? That doesn't make sense. Are we all in agreement that doesn't make sense? Right?
Yep.
That's odd, right? That's
No
very
doubt.
weird. Yeah, very, very weird.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and for a long time, the narrative was, well, the stock market is ahead of the economy by 6 months. Well, it's been fucking 10 years, man. I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
Right? It's a little fucking crazy, no? It's been 12 years, actually. Still fucking waiting. Because it's May 2021. This was March 2009.
Can you do me a favor and compare this to gold? I just want to see if we've even made a new all-time high against gold.
Oh, you mean versus gold? Okay.
Yeah, you just pull up this chart and then do the divider symbol and then put it in gold. Yeah.
Just had to make sure that's what you meant, because I was sure as I was not.
Well, I'm just because then we'll get a better read on inflation, right?
Yeah. Of course. No disagreements there, my friend.
Yeah, look at this. This looks completely different. Look at we're just about the top again. Look, it's gonna roll the fuck over.
Pretty much.
It's obvious, man. This is just so what we're doing is we're valuing, or not we actually should be valuing things in hex terms, in my opinion, or T-shares. But it's just a charade, because you're seeing a price appreciation in dollar terms, but at the pump, at the gas station, at the food store, all your products and services are costing you more and you're getting paid less.
Yeah.
And so really you're actually just staying the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
pretty much. You're not gaining any value. You're not.
America is not innovating anymore. I'll just say that outright. Like, we've stopped.
Well, that's obvious, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they again, you're right. I don't know if you guys remember that one, how Western economies work, like that one of that first macro special I did, where I explain how the global economy works. Right, we all are part of one economic pie, and each successive level, right, of governance, right, when you're looking federal, state, municipal, right, each level is a separate economic pie, right? Mm-hmm. And hold on, I'm trying to find the long-term stock market to gold charts. So I know they have them here on this site. But the whole,
what's the name of this site? I want to save
macrotrends.net.
All right.
Bookmark this too.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, hold on. Here's Dow to silver to oil, gold, S&P 500 to gold. Here you are. I know that chart we're looking at isn't right, because I know I've seen the right one before. And here we go. If only I can get this fucker to zoom out.
So yeah, dude, this is so awesome. So I mean, just look at the .com bubble. When we built the internet, that was the last time we innovated as far as price valuation against. At least that's what I'm seeing out of this. And ever since then, we've all been sitting at home in our parents' basements playing video games, smoking weed, and eating
Living
pizza.
the life. Living
I'm kidding,
the
of
life.
course. We would never do that. I don't want to
No,
speak
of
for
course
anyone else.
Of course not. Never do that. All right, so this sucks. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
all right. That sucks too. Okay, well, this is all time, right? This is, hold on, where is this thing? This is what SPY is showing us. Let me put in SPX instead of SPY. There we go, just to get a. There you go, 2.2, right? We want to relate it to the correct calculation, 2.2. So now we know we're looking at the right chart. And that's what my goal was, just make sure you guys knew we were looking at the right chart, right? SPX, right? 2.2, SPX, S&P 500 versus gold, right? 2.52, so that must be 2.2. So this is definitely the right chart. And the last time we were actually up against gold, it was the top of the tech bubble. So, yeah, I think you already went over that.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. That's cool to see it.
20 years ago,
You know, we're
guys.
downtrending right now. I mean, look at does this break to the upside now? Or?
I highly doubt that. There is zero reason for it to happen. In fact, gold should soon enough be breaking out.
Right. So then, yeah, exactly. So then
you cannot print
down
trillions of dollars and just expect it not to happen.
Yeah.
But let's not all speak. You know, let's not as Mr. Wolf likes to say in that great movie. What's the name of it? Pulp Fiction. Let's not all start sucking each other's dicks just yet. You know what I mean? Power 2. Hold on, because people need to understand how the Federal Reserve works. Powers of the Federal Reserve. This is good enough. Monetary policy objectives. Where are you, you little fucker? Because here it tells you outright. Lease is gold, motherfuckers. Where is it? I'm gonna have to find it and show it to you guys.
You might know a little bit about finance. I don't know. I think I might believe you now.
Yeah, well, no, I just want to show people. You know, I don't want people to take my word for anything. My word means nothing. Right? I want people to be fully aware of the facts and that none of this is fiction and that what they actually think is fact is fiction. That's my objective. So with that, you know, I have to make sure I show people what's actually going on, because it's very easy. Like I'm never going to be a guru or a fool. I'm just going to be a person that's relaying the facts. That's it. Yeah. No more, no less. You
neutrality,
know, I don't think,
right? Is that kind of your stance? Exactly. Is you like to sit right in them? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just a guy letting you know what's going on, because guess what? You don't know. And people need to know. Stock issues, if solvency members, division of earnings. Just give me a second. I really want to find this damn thing. If I can't find it now, I'll be sure to have it as soon as possible. But what I'm looking for is, this is talking about the powers of the Fed, right? An act to provide for establishment of Federal Reserve banks to furnish an elastic currency to afford means of rediscounting commercial paper to establish a more effective supervision of banking in the U.S. and for other purposes. Right now, I don't want to turn this into a part 2 of the central bank special, but long story short, they have a clause in here that basically states, oh wait, I think I found it. Is this it? Hold on.
Like with Keynesian, I don't know. I don't want to go into that route, but
so what I'm looking for. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you. Go.
No. What I was gonna say is, what I'm looking for is just for the language that states that they are within their rights to lease gold, and that's exactly how they suppress the price of it, by leasing it out. Yeah, and it's right here in writing. So it's not that I'm making it up. I mean, this is what I want to show people so they understand, right? Like I even made fun of some guy on Twitter the other day that was selling subscription services or some shit for like how to invest in gold. I'm like, you're selling services to people how to invest in something that is naturally suppressed by government. Think about that, right? Like, what are you selling to people? Misinformation, brother. He didn't even have a reply for that. What the fuck is he gonna say? Right? Like, what are you gonna say? I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna keep wasting more time on this, but I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna show it to you guys.
What he was doing.
Yeah, he doesn't even know, right? Like, he doesn't even know, and this is the whole point. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know, and that's what you need to be aware of.
Brothers.
Yeah, you
watch
need to
out
be
for
aware
these
of
guys.
that.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, because they're everywhere. They're really everywhere. I mean, look at this chart, right? Let me. I'm surprised it's only showing back to 2007. I guess
if you compare it against a different gold, the Wanda one doesn't go back far enough. There's other ones that do.
Oh, that's the problem. Hold on, I think IDC
Forex
is the one
maybe, or maybe the
IDC is the one I want.
Oh,
IDC is always one.
Okay, okay.
Oh, did I type in a freaking?
No, it's weird.
Yep, I put in a period. Hold on. Boom.
All right.
Boom. What's my motherfucking name? There we go. All right. So now we don't have to look at that macro trends weird chart. This is what I wanted to avoid. Great. So let me make it 55 days. All right. Look at that. Interesting, no? Very interesting.
Well, that's going back 100 years. More.
Yeah. Yes. Having the right data matters, guys. Fucking with a pro here. It's the reason I look around a lot. There's no fucking around.
Can you measure the distance between the highs, please? Just so like from 1930 and then the Great Depression to the new high in like 1970 when we got off the gold standard.
Us you want the all-time low, which is
no. I just wanted to measure like from top to top, like from 1930 to 1972. And those are significant because what those are is huge key points in history. So like you have the Great Depression, and then you have when we got off the gold standard.
The gold standard,
yeah. Then you have the tech bubble, and then what's the next thing? That's what we got to figure out.
Right. Hold on. I'm trying to get that measure right.
And how long are those measurements? Because we might be able to project out how long these cycles take, these human progress cycles, right?
Right. This looks like. Oh, you know what? I actually know the answer to that. But that's a whole nother stream because there are cycles there's political cycles, there are war cycles, there are economic cycles, there are market cycles. So yes, there are cycles of this.
That's 38 years right there.
And they run in 8.6 year increments. And this is a whole thing. Like I can't even get into this. This is a whole nother thing. This will become like an 8-hour
this is cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so here we have 13,800 days between one recent top and another. So that's what, 38 years you said, right? Yeah, that looks
I
right.
said it's 38 years, and then I want to see that now to the tech bubble.
Yeah, for sure. And that was 21 August 67. And here we are. It was actually March 2000 though, but the high
almost 12,000. It's looks like you're getting a number of 11,900 or so.
Yeah, it was. I know it was like the first week of March.
32 years we got roughly.
So we'll take that.
So you're only shaved off 6 years. No, you only shaved off 6 years.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, 6 years. Sorry, I don't know why the hell I thought it was long.
It's basically the same cycle, except it was faster because of the adoption curve of technology. Is what I'm
correct. Yeah, you got to realize how many people were able to access the stock market online in the late 90s. A shit ton.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's so many. And the reason I know is because a lot of the guys that I would learn from on the legacy side, 10 years ago, a lot of those guys, that's when they started trading the tech bubble. And that's how they got wrecked and that's how they got hooked. right? And they just never left the markets alone. And that's, you know, how we learn, right? We get baptized into this. We don't just make billions and retire, right? If only it was that easy, we wouldn't be streaming. True story.
So then if we went forward in time and let's say we shaved off another 6 years. Let's say, I don't know.
That's a fair assessment, bro.
I don't know. Like, well, how many years would that be? Like, hold on, let me do that again. Sorry.
So it was 32, right? So 26. So 2026.
I'm trying to give you the right amount of days. Hold on. Oh, is it
26?
9,500 days roughly into the future.
Yeah, 94.16. That's good enough.
Yeah.
94, 93.
So like, look at, we should theoretically go up and test the all-time high there against gold by 2026, which, by the way, I got some of my fat stakes weighted out 26, 27. So, you know, I've been playing this the whole time. I've been playing this fucking cycle the whole time.
You were playing it before you even knew it.
Yeah, before I even knew it. It's just like an intuition. So this is nuts, man. I'm fucking learning that something inside of me is telling me these things, but I didn't know it until I seen it. Now I'm getting outside confirmation of something that I was getting from other sources subconsciously. So it's blowing my mind, you know.
There you go, baby. That's what we're here for, man. Blow minds and learn some shit. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's all about.
And figure it all out. I mean, if we're not doing the work, who is, right?
Yeah, somebody has to do it. But imagine, right, if it does go up. I don't think that'll happen, honestly, but it's
what if we just did a head and shoulders and then we ripped? Fuck it. You know, gold runs, head and shoulders, and then we rip. Fuck it.
We can go to 3.3 and fall back. Yeah. We can definitely go back. I mean, look, it looks like it's kind of on an upswing, right? If it breaches that zero line, we're definitely going to move higher. No doubt about it. It's just a matter of it happening. You know what I mean? So we'll see. It's an interesting chart to look at because it just goes to show all the games that they've been playing, right, with people's money. That's really all this chart shows. Because the reality of this chart is that it should look like
now let's go back and look at it against back to regular chart, not against gold, and then I bet you it looks a lot different than what we're seeing here.
Yeah,
look at that. Okay, can you guys just look at that? Like, would you just look at it? Please just look at it.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
All time, 1870, right? Back in the day, I used to have this Harvard hookup for this data fucking connect they have over there. I got all this data, like all time, all kind of markets, crude, all kinds of markets that you can think of. And I just pasted all these charts together. So when you do that, you really like play with the data. You like your brain kind of records it. It's kind of like writing it down. So this is how I know the history so well of all these markets and all that. It's because I play with the data. It's not because I'm some type of brainiac. So you just gotta play with the data. That's really all it is. So for me, it's fun. So it's easy. But you know, for some people, it's a pain in the ass. I mean, look at this. How cool is it to look at the price action from 1876? That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you didn't buy the dip back then, bro. You suck. Imagine that. Wow. You didn't buy that 1932 dip, man. You're a moron. That shit was so obvious, right?
Gonna need some longevity for this.
Right. The years 1904 to 1920 before the big run up, before the Great Depression. We just went a sideways range for a long time. Why don't it looks almost like modern day from basically from the tech bubble of 2000 that we were supposed to just do that for another 30 years, but instead we had some manipulation going on to push the price up.
Oh yeah, there's always some of that, right? Whereas
it's easier to do now that everything's centralized and digital and legacy. That's basically what I'm saying is that box that he just drew should have been replicated in modern day.
Correct. Here's another one.
Because what you're seeing is humans tamper with nature and natural cycles.
Correct. Do that all the time, right? I mean, this is why we have a lot of the things that we have today, right? A lot of disasters that happen are man-made. They're not really natural. That's just how they're reported. Because it's convenient, right? We don't want to be the blame of anything. But, you know, things happen how they happen. But again, right, like price, look at this. In reality, the market went sideways for, let's go like here and here. So the market went sideways for a very long time until it broke out higher thanks to QE. And what year was this? Yeah, 2013. Man, I lost so much money. You guys have no fucking idea. Yo, you guys got no fucking idea. I put in some work.
I'm glad you're here, man.
I put in some work shorting that market, baby, only to eat it all. And that's just how it goes, man. You know.
So in other words,
no better teacher.
It's not what you make; it's what you keep.
Yep.
You're damn right. And that's why I can call myself a pro now, because I know I'm not gonna lose shit anymore. After losing, think about it. After losing money, I've been shorting this market since literally since like January 2012. Straight up, I was shorting this market up until basically I finally quit the summer of 2015 because I realized finally what the hell was going on. I don't know why it took me so long to get it, because I understood what was going on, but I just honestly didn't believe that they had that much control. I didn't want to believe they had that much control over the market, because they clearly do. Clearly they do. And if you don't want to believe that, good for you, but clearly they do, right? How else is SPY there, gold here? Oh, that's not even gold. That's fucking silver, right? Like how? Makes no sense, right? Like this makes no sense. Gold should be at 5,000 minimum, not 1,900. Why is that? Well, let's see. Maybe because of that. Now, let's compare this motherfucker to gold, just for funsies, right? Why not? What else do we have to do? Where are you? XAU, USD, IDC. Let's do it. All right. Let's give you a new scale. Where are you? Boom. Okay. Now let's make these bad boys percents. How is that comparable? Gold has a 200% rate of return on this chart versus 1,000, 1,100 for the money stock. How is gold keeping up with inflation? Would love for somebody to explain that one to me. I'll wait.
Let's see here. M2 money stock.
That's basically all the money being printed plus credit.
Yeah.
Basically all the money being printed. So
it doesn't.
Yeah.
So they're positively correlated. Like what?
They should be 1-to-1, damn near. That's my point. Why isn't I'm sorry for the noise, guys. Why isn't the rate of change? Because I've altered the labels to give us percent. So it should be giving us the reading from 0. But it's not even close. Gold outstrips it by 6 almost. 5+. Right? That's interesting, no? Money is buying money. Money is not buying gold.
It's just confusing me, man.
Exactly. Doesn't make any freaking sense. Yeah. Welcome to the fuck bomb I've been dealing with for fucking the last 10 years. Right?
My God. It's worse than the military.
Yeah. Yes. You wouldn't believe how much. I mean, okay. So how the hell is the total monetary supply or total global market value, right? Let's just look that number up randomly. No, this is not what I want. Okay, let's just go with global stock market just to give. That's not what the number I'm looking for. Maddie has it. It's like a freaking 3-digit $1 trillion number. It's the size of like the whole market, right? Like you can trade or whatever, derivatives, equities, everything, right? As of whenever this was written, November 12, 2020, the global stock market cap was 95 trillion. 95 trillion. Not billion, not million. Trillion. I can't even imagine that number. Straight up. It's unfathomable to me in a physical sense. So, what the fuck is going on? Right? What's going on? Something is up. What is it? It doesn't make sense. Right? And this is what all of these streams are all about. Like, there's so many ways to break this cookie. Right? Like, look at this. Like, this is crazy. Right? Like, how is the dollar only down 27%? Now, don't get me wrong. That's a lot for a currency. That's a whole lot for a currency. But we all know how much they're really printing. So it actually doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because it should just be like a ratio, right? It should just
Right.
go down as a ratio. But why? How and why are they like? It's through derivatives, right? Is how they're able to manipulate it.
Yes. Derivatives.
Derivatives are a sin to mankind.
Derivatives and debt. Because debt are just another form of derivative. Because you have to get money out of nowhere.
This is why Hex is so powerful, is because it's it's like it solves the debt problem, the debt crisis.
It's its own Keynesian economic system.
Yeah.
That functions like it's supposed to.
It protects you, and it's protected by encapsulated code. I mean, so it's going to perform exactly how you know it's going to perform. That's the beauty of it.
That's right.
It cannot be altered. I mean. Yeah, but man, wow.
I mean,
we
this
touched
is
on
all,
a lot, man.
Yeah, this is all like important stuff. We've got a nice little down move for Hex. I'm waiting to buy the dip as always. I promise you guys.
I want to hear your opinion on where you think we might.
I've never had so much money to buy stuff with in my life. This is amazing.
Yeah,
let me start off with that.
So I just need to know where we're entering at, please.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get a nice.
I'm
hoping we get a nice move back to 4. Would be nice to buy some more back there.
We did go down to 4.6 today or yesterday, was it? It was a wick. It was instant. It
4 or
was
5. Today? I think it was like
4 or 5. It was the day before, the 29th. It was yesterday. Sorry. Yeah.
I was actually, because my uncle was looking to enter the Hex market, and I was like, "Oh, look at this!" Because his big question is, "Well, if I want to get out, can I get out?" And I'm like, "Dude, if you want to sell $1 million, you can spread it across like a few orders and get out easily."
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, very easy.
And then I'm like, "Hey, by the way, look at this red candle. This was $500,000. Some guy just dumped." So he's not trying to put that in by any stretch of the imagination. So it's just like, bro, like your little $5,000, $10,000 bag isn't going to be shit.
Right, pretty much. I mean, look,
but the other thing too is like, it's like I'm telling him to stake it, but I don't think he comprehends that.
It's just See, that's the thing.
The system is a lot for noobs.
Yeah, it takes a little while to sink in.
Yeah, the hardest part is gauging how to explain it to people, because you don't know what they know, how they're gonna receive it, or what? Like, why do I want to do that? And I'm like, what do you mean? Why don't you want free money? I don't understand.
Mexicans are like communication majors. They just know how to relay it in a way that will make this person understand.
Yeah, you gotta be. It's crazy, bro. You really, really have to be to a degree, right? Because this is not, even though it's simple, it's not simple, right? This is crazy stuff. Because look at this, right? I like to keep version 1 open just so people don't get confused, right? Let's not forget where this thing is going. Only one way. right? And
Wait,
if it
wait,
goes
wait, wait.
down,
Up or no? To the right? No, wait. To the up.
I think it's
Wait,
going. I think it's going sideways, but I can't tell. What price was this? Let's see. That was like 4 zeros there with a 6 or something. Is that 4 zeros? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's down there somewhere.
Yeah, that's
Maybe 5.
that's a small number down there. I don't know, but I
Yeah,
know that we're up 120,000%. So
right. Yeah, it's pretty
that's
ridiculous.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
I mean,
ridiculous.
I've always told myself like, Cabana Crypto did a tweet the other day that was thought provoking, and it was like just about how you can't stop yourself from wanting to buy more hex at any price. It feels like it's like, oh yeah, hex under a penny is like the greatest risk reward in crypto, and like just buy as much as you can and stake it and sit on it, and then it's like, and then you tell yourself, all right, I'm good, I got my bag, and then it goes to 2 cents, but it rips, and you're like, oh fuck, I got to get more before it goes to 10 cents.
Yep.
Because the PE is so low, you're getting a discounted item every time.
At all times.
Mm-hmm.
At all times.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful thing, man. Like, I hope that's not really lost on people because I talk about it all the time for a reason. You know, it's very important. Very, very important. Please,
So is there a point when Hex USD price makes it so that the PE ratio goes to 1? Because let's just say nobody sold and the price went to $100 in like a day. Is that is that PE then crazy? Should it affect it? Does the math work out that way, or?
So let's talk about that because I think in order for that to happen, honestly, we have to have Hex go to a point where the T shares are officially deflationary. Right. And what that means, and what that means is that now you really aren't getting a high APY anymore, or
you just can't get T shares anymore because because they became too expensive. So actually, it only affects people coming in with fiat that aren't in the system yet. Actually, the PE. If you're already in, you're locking in your PE right now at 1.17, basically.
Pretty much.
Wow, dude. Fucking oh, dude, I'm so jacked.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was kind of.
I mean, I guess it's just like it might not seem like I might not get the whole thing.
No. It's okay not to get it, right? Because that means my communication wasn't on par, right? It's not where it should be. So yeah, because you have to realize once you lock it in, that's it. That's your price.
I just didn't know the dynamic which was going to cause the PE to go up. It's people that don't have hex bags that are coming in later on when T shares are no longer available that are going to be getting less coins and a lower APY.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because of this.
The share rate.
Where is it? Yep. Because of that yellow line there. Right? That yellow line drives everything. Right? It's very important to remember that. That's what it's all about, baby. It's not about anything else, right? And this is why we care so much about Hex and the PE, right? Because once that T-share rate gets to a point where you now have to really get a lot of Hex and pay a lot for that Hex in order to get one T-share. And by a lot, I mean a lot, right? Like it might happen around day. I'm guesstimating it could happen at any point after the 10-year mark.
Yeah, because I'm thinking in my mind, I'm seeing the end stakes graph in my mind right now, and I'm thinking about all this activity is gonna happen around when massive amounts of end stakes end at once.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. Right, I'm thinking it's gonna be here. Right, and the reason for that is because this 10-year mark. That's when most of the stakes are coming out, just like you said. And that's when everybody knows the max bonus and all that, because we know we have a lot of stakes at both the 10 and 15-year mark. But we see that the 10-year mark is really the big boy, right? Because it's so far out there that is the big mark that's going to really propel Hex. Like anybody that has 15-year stakes or longer, 10 years, like 11-year stakes or longer, any stake longer than it looks like May 2030, they're fucking getting paid out the ass.
Yeah,
right?
Big time.
This is just going to skyrocket.
It can't be understated the power of staking before T-shares go deflationary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly believe whoever is staked past this point in time is going to be part of the richest people on the planet,
On planet Earth, yeah.
because we're minting hundreds of thousands of hex. Some people are minting that daily, right? Some people are minting that monthly, right? And that's not going to be possible for people in the future. Like, you got to remember, 16 months, 500 plus days, only 6 months post big payday. Like, people got to remember that's very important, right? Very, very important. All right, let's get back to these charts and
Hey,
be done with
Diamond Dad asked an interesting question. He said,
what's
if
up.
you stake for 5555, how much would you? How much would the price of Hex have to go down in order to actually lose money in dollar terms?
I don't think that's
I don't
possible,
think it's
actually,
possible
because
because
you're
like we
already up.
projected out like $2,000 Hex by that time.
Yeah, so check it. Even if you lose 100% of your initial capital after what, year 3, you're breaking even anyway, or 2.5. So, because it's 40% on a 555 stake, it's 40% a year, right? And that yield actually goes up every year. So, you don't. And that's because it's math, man. You know what I mean? And it sounds, kind of not possible, but yeah, it's just math, man.
What,
You
a
know what I mean?
savings account that works for you with no humans involved?
Imagine that.
Who would have
Imagine
thought?
that.
Crazy.
Imagine that.
That's crazy. Who would have thought of
Yeah.
that one?
No kidding.
All
Mic drop. We're done.
right. Yeah, game over. Now check it out versus gold. This is how good Hex is, right? Versus gold. It's clearly not being held at all. Right? Like, crazy. Now this
Yeah.
is a freaking
The
chart.
swings are way bigger, but yeah, they're the same though. Yeah. It's probably closer to zero, huh?
Yeah, it is close to zero. I mean, it's zero, right? I mean, look at this. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's just,
got to pull out that line. You got to take these curves and
yep,
stretch
and
them
get
out,
that line. Yeah, definitely.
right? Because it's gonna fall in the midsection all the time. That's just what it is, especially when it covers the terrain in such a widespread way, right? Like, it has to. So this is versus gold, right? This is versus crude oil, a commodity, right? Again, zero, right? Like, you see the top range, you see the bottom of the range, right? Like, zero. It's
Wales,
interesting.
do you know of any
Yeah.
other assets that are zero correlated to anything else?
No, not even the dollar. Look, the dollar looks just like crude.
Really?
Yeah,
Bro, like that, I didn't know that either.
it's weird, but there you
Yeah,
go.
I guess I just didn't know that there wasn't an asset that just wasn't correlated to anything, but until now. Or if there is, I'm
Well,
just unaware of it.
now we know that there is one.
It's called Hex,
And
right?
it's called Hex. That's true.
Hex.com. Go buy
Yeah,
some today. Stake that shit for 15 years and become a billionaire.
pretty much.
Start with 1,000.
Hard not to do that. I mean, I'm here checking my graphs on this crude chart and the dollar chart because I can't believe the data is so similar. But yeah, it's similar. Like, that's freaky. That shouldn't be happening at all. And I'm guessing it's because they're the same type of digits, but just just 4 digits with a decimal in the middle, because crude is the pricing convention is like 66 plus 32 is the last price, and then for the dollar, it's 89 plus 90, 89 and 99 cents, right? So that's what I mean by the same format, the numbering convention. So that's probably why the data looks the same, because it really does look the same. I want to check the chart. It's pretty weird.
And again, like what's making Hex, just for anybody new that's in here, what's making Hex with the zero correlation being something that stands on its own is literally the truth engine / the T-shares. Like that's really what is forcing Hex USD to go up all the time and chase share price. Because the incentive, if the interest rate's so high, is the incentive to make people do so. So that's why it's creating this first ever zero correlated asset to anything else, because nothing like it has existed. That's my understanding of it.
Yeah, that's accurate.
It's a good recap.
Nothing ever like it has. I don't know if anybody else has heard of something like what I haven't. I have not. Oh, interesting. The chart really didn't change. That's freaky. Oh wait, it did change. Okay. About to say something had to be wrong. Something was wrong. So give me a second, because that just didn't make any sense. All right. I mean, it's not really much different. It's still zero correlation. So it's just to make sure we're looking at the accurate representation of the data. It's important. So yeah, again,
So good,
it's
man.
just yeah, you know, good stuff as always, man. I mean, it's nice to bust these myths, right? I'm like the mathematical myth buster or whatever.
That's
Like people
awesome,
talk
bro.
all this freaking nonsense,
Who are
man.
you gonna
Like help
call?
yourself, man. Just stop. Just stop. You know, just sit down, look at the data, and you know, respect yourself. Like you can't just walk around saying crazy stuff that's not true. Like it's not good for your health. It's really not, because it's gonna mess with your head, and that ultimately affects with your health. It's just how it is, you know. I mean, look at how decorrelated it is against the dollar. This is crazy. This is crazy. That's something to harp about. That's something to boast about.
Hex Farmer just said, "I'm predicting Hex at $15,000 in 15 years," and then the sapper replied, "You know, he's just flabbergasted about that number." But I think what you're forgetting is that the dollar is going to continue to go down to nothing
Yeah, I
forever,
wouldn't be surprised by a high $5 figure for Hex.
and then the share
Nothing.
rate is going up forever. So they're completely opposite each other. So it's going to be a negative correlation, right?
Correct. It should be, right? I haven't done it versus T-shares, but I should. It'll just be interesting to see just exactly what I could do.
That's what I would
real
like
quick.
our next stream to do.
I can do that right now because I just got to drop the data in. Yeah, I just got to drop the data in there. What's going on, Papa B?
Hey, by the way, Wales offers his service for free, by the way. So clap your hands and give him a round, because that's what's up. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, well, you know, it has to be done, brother. It has to be done.
Great stuff.
Set them straight.
Yeah,
got to put people on rectified street. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what is going on out here? I feel like Vince Lombardi on the sideline in that little 3-second clip. What the hell is going on out here?
Because you got this like crystal clear like diamond hand vision. But then there's like misinformation being spread, and it's like, come on.
Yo, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. All right, so let me just do these little updates for this data real quick. So what do you want me to show? T-shares versus $1, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be a good start, and then you could start comparing T-shares to all sorts of stuff. You know.
Yeah, because I got
be predictable, right? Because it's always going to go up, so it would be negative correlated to everything, basically.
Yep.
Whereas Hex USD will be zero correlated, T-share should be negative correlated, theoretically, but we don't know. It's just my hypothesis.
We're about to find out. That is for sure. So here we go. We got the dollar down. No, I wanna do it versus Hex too. Let's do that first, right? That'll be interesting. Just to see something that should have a positive correlation. I think that would be cool. So let me. Fuck! I already forgot where I had the data. Hold on.
Do you have to pull it from go.hex.com, or where do you pull your?
No. I already have it. Yeah. I already have all that stuff. Like I record it every day or every few days or whatever. Like I manually record this stuff. I don't care. I'm not shy about using my fingers and all that. So it's all good. Some cats got to code everything. I never had the time to do that, so I got to just manually do it. And that's okay. I don't mind. It'll be okay.
I'm working on it for you, bud. I'm working on it.
Oh yeah. I just got to get back into it, man. I'm
saying you could hire somebody to do that for you.
Yeah, I could. I don't want to have to explain shit to people, bro. You know what I mean? It's a hassle. It's a hassle. It's not, it's not nothing. It's just like if I could just figure out how to code myself.
When we start our firm, we're gonna be doing it. So.
Well, there you go. See what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to just leave that up to anybody. So.
That's what's up.
What are you gonna name your firm?
Yeah, what are you gonna name?
I gotta consult the partners first.
How about Three Whales Capital?
Ooh, juicy.
Well,
I like
you
it.
retarded, bro.
Registering the LLC right now.
right.
LP, sorry, LP.
LP.
I don't know whatever's the most best
Oh,
tax. I don't gotta dig in a little
it's
bit
LP. It's LP. It's
here.
LP.
LP, yeah.
It's LP. It's LP. You're good. All right, let's see.
3 whales, baby.
Yeah.
That's right. 3 whales. All right. What's up with this data? Why is it all the way down there? Why does this thing like playing with me? Let's see. 1213. Let's go to 1213. Ah. Okay. All right. Hold on. So we can talk about this chart while I'm messing with this. For now, we're on day 532 of the data since it first came out on the exchanges. Because we have to remember that 2 weeks of data is lost for Hex because of the first exchange that listed it. They magically deleted the data. First 2 weeks of data. So this is all we have. The first 532, even though it's been around for, I think the number is now, 545 days? I don't even remember anymore. But we're up there. We're up there. So T-share index is at 44,000. Hex index is at 24,000. And this is just comparing the first 530 plus days of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Hex, and T-shares. Bitcoin is still dead. It has about 30 more days before it actually gives us a reading. Ethereum is only at 869, 870 rounding up. So as you guys can see, Hex is 3x above that. Or is that more? 8 times 3? Yeah, that's more. Shit. 30x.
There's too many X's for my small
Yeah,
brain to figure out.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I'm not smart enough. I'm clearly not smart enough. This is just ridiculous.
The amount of X's, man.
It's ridiculous, bro. And it's, people are gonna learn the hard way, man. What are you gonna do? You try to teach them. We're nice people. We're not nice. We're kind. Let me paraphrase Kareem here because it's appropriate. We're not nice. We're kind, and people just, they don't want to take advantage of it, man. And it's sad because it's useful. It's useful, and they're gonna miss out, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck.
They just have to buy higher because their option is: do you want to buy now, or are you gonna have to buy later? There's no option of I'm never gonna buy Hex. I don't feel like that's
right.
I don't want to be a maxi, but I'm gonna be a maxi for now until I see something better.
Right.
Somebody wants to invent a new technology that surpasses this, and sure, like if quantum computing shuts all this down and we cause Great Depression 2.0 in 2031, then yeah, I'm glad I had a few stakes ending before the 10 years, right?
Correct. But that's the whole thing, right? You have at least a thought process of what makes sense for you.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got to be laddering out to protect yourself and hedge against future technological advances that might threaten Hex too, just the same way Hex is threatening everything else on planet Earth.
Even I'm not doing that, and that's sad because I should be.
Think about it.
Right. It's very true because it's highly probable.
We just went through a little bit ago. We looked at the SPY and we looked at it over a 100-year period, and we saw these huge cycles that play out over like 30-year periods of time. Well, it's going to happen again. It's natural. That part is natural. It's just it's concentrations of wealth, of people getting wealthy, and then there's a big inversion of the system where the masses just can't take the pressure anymore of that, and then the redistribution of wealth happens, and then you have, along the way you have this deflationary aspect of technology getting better, and our human capabilities are getting better, and so it allows for that that flipping event to happen, where for example, like my generation, millennial generation, is able to flip the OG legacy finance guys through a new technology, right? So there's a new threat introduced to the old systems, and that's going to go forever, right?
Beautiful.
And so if you go back, it was the Great Depression was like the leveraged stock market, right? That was a technology, and then in 72 was we started fiat money that wasn't backed by gold. So now we have infinite supply. That was another technological advance, you know, in quotes.
Yeah,
quote unquote.
So now we're going back the other way to like, yeah. So it's nuts, man. But you guys got to be, you know, compress this information and try to secure your bags in a way that you're safe in any situation.
Yeah, very true, bro. Very true. Because you just don't know, man. These correlations are retarded. You guys are about to lose your shit. This is what a positive correlation looks like. Wow.
I'm pretty excited.
This
can
is
undersell it.
this is crazy. I am underselling it actually. This is the sad part. And XL is really being a biatch. Making me do all these damn calculations one by one, like if we don't have better things to do. All right. All right, that's good enough anyway. Excuse me, guys.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. Give me a second. I'm almost done here with this one chart. I'm doing T-shares versus Hex just because it's crazy. Where you guys are about to see what a value proposition looks like in a correlation form. So put on your FOMO freaking pants because you're gonna freaking need it. Yeah, I'm actually saying it ahead of time for once.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, let's see this shit.
Yeah. It's pretty sick, bro. It's pretty sick. Like, wow. Just give me a second because Excel is really, really, what is it called? Grinding my gears. Yeah, grinding.
Let me get the guitar out and start shredding for the people.
And put some, what's the name of that band that does a final countdown? Europe?
The final count. Yeah.
Jesus.
Isn't that like voted the most annoying song of all time? Or something like that?
I actually don't know. I don't know. Is it?
Pretty sure it's in the top 5.
Like, yeah, actually, it's up there, motherfucker. Don't talk about
it. I don't. It's another opinion, another fucking worthless opinion.
Man. Well, we all got them, bro. You know, we all got them. It's about just using them sparingly, you know, and only when it's really
appropriate
to use them. Yeah, appropriate to use them. Yeah. You know, it's not always appropriate, so it's all good. All right, we're finally done. I just God damn it, man. All right, here we are. All right, this is gonna be fucking ridiculous. All right. That's need this. 21. Yeah, this is funny. All right. Oops, wrong one. All right.
We built this city.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Sorry.
We built this city on a rock and roll.
All right. All right. Come on. There we go. All right. Oh, yes. Yes. Prepare thine eyes for thine feast. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait.
I wonder what Kareem's going to say about these charts when he sees them. and talks about him.
Lose this shit.
He's gonna, yeah, I know. I can't wait for that.
He's gonna lose it.
Might watch Quant just for that tomorrow, or Tuesday, or is it Monday, Tuesday?
Oh, man.
When are you guys doing that? Tuesday night?
Tuesdays. It's Tuesdays. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, check out. I'm sure there'll be this and more Tuesday night with Wales, Maddie, and Kareem.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be bonkers when I go over these charts. Because again, it's just a shit talking fest after a certain point. We've been telling people this shit all along.
Oh my God, positively correlated much?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Cool. Wow. This is T-shares versus Hex. So anytime that it tries to reach parity, we've kind of said this before, but now you get a visual for it. It's trying to reach 1 all the time.
Holy shit.
All the time.
When it dips, it's quick, you know.
This is what a positive correlation looks like in case anybody is still confused. Stays
You're
along
north of 0% for those
at
who
all
are
times.
just tuning in.
At all times. So enjoy.
What's that big spike down there? We're on 3.8. What was that? It was.
Guess something happened with the T-shares, and let's look. Let me look at the data. Let's see here. 3/8/2021, which was recently. Okay, I'm in the vicinity.
Hex price must have rallied harder or something. I don't.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Corporate is a 21 day. Yes, it went negative for a couple of days, 3.3 and 3.4, and again in 225, which it is not visible there. Oh no, it didn't. It went to 0. Never mind. It went to 0. So let's see what happened here. I think this is X price. Nope, that's 1 day correlation. X price is next to it.
What is love, baby? Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more.
No more. All right, here we go. So that was where'd it go? Here we go. Okay. Oh, that was the last time it was 4 cents, bro.
Gotcha.
That day, that was the last time it was 4 cents. And T-shares were 46, 48 bucks. I'm not sure why they were negatively correlated though. Let's see. Hex went down. Hex went down day over day, and T-shares went up day over day. So that's why the negative correlation on this day.
Okay.
Hex went from 4 cents, 4.1 cents to 3.9. Oh, I'm sorry. 0.004, not 0.4. So 0.4 of a cent. It went from 4.1 of a cent to 3.9 of a cent. And T-shares went from 45.85 to 46.96. So that's why the negative spiked down. They went in opposite directions, which is rare, clearly, as this chart details. So this is what a positively correlated asset looks like. All right. So this is how you know the T-share rate is driving this bad boy. Because the T-shares are a function of the T-share rate. And yeah, that's pretty much that.
I'll go into into detail. You can expand on that on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, this is just pretty crazy, bro. It's pretty crazy.
Did you did you do a chart against USD too, or do you save that for another time? T-share versus USD. We can do it another time, dude.
Okay. We can do it another time.
Tease it for another.
Save something for another day. You know, don't give it all out in one shoot.
Yeah. Sure thing. So we already went over this chart. We went over that chart. 1,023, 24 rounding up, 15% above the first happening, 635 above the second, 392 against the third. And we're just cleaning up as always. There you go, 41.88, 2.76 T-shares versus Bitcoin and T-shares versus Ethereum. We got new highs on the table, near 3% versus Bitcoin and near 44% versus Ethereum. And I just want to highlight that the last time we made a high, Ethereum was at $400 and Hex was at like 4 or 5 or 2 cents or 1.5 cents. Sorry, 1.5 cents. So there you go. Value proposition doing what it's supposed to do. T-share rate at 18,058 with respect to a $530.80 cost for 10,000 hex, giving us a T-share dollar value of 958.57, which is what yields this number. It's the T-shares divided by the 10,000 hex, and we got a APY of 37.77% today. This line is giving us the payout per T-share sum line, which is at 2,082 hex so far after tonight's crossover. And this is saying if you've been staked since day one, you've gotten 2,082 hex paid to you for each T-share. Hex index, as we already discussed, is at 24,000. And as always, Hex is tracking the value proposition. And over time, what's happening is that as the value of Hex goes higher and the value to track the value proposition, the scaling is going to go higher as well, right? So these lines are going to get smaller the further we go out as the value proposition continues to track the 45-degree line, and so does price, right? And in percentage terms, it becomes a whopping 188,769 on the index, and in percentage terms, that's just like 1,800
valued in USD, right? That's where you're getting that number. Yeah.
No. This is just Hex. This is just Hex payout. Yeah, this is just Hex payout.
Yeah, because we started at 1 hex per share.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like down here, this line is reflecting the increase in the payout per T-share, which has been 5-fold since inception.
That's interesting. I see a pattern there where you're seeing these spikes. Every time we see price increases, you see spikes of people EESing.
That's right. Get used to it because that's exactly how it's going to work. I was talking about that earlier today, actually. We're going to always
so guys, if price goes up and you're locked in, you're happy that people are on staking because you're that's what's keeping this red line going more and more exponential over time, most likely.
Yeah, parabolic.
And
but it won't look parabolic. It'll always look like a 45. It's just that the price is going to fluctuate in larger ranges.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But but if you zoom out linearly, it'll look parabolic. But
yeah. It's going to. It's going to.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. So this line again is just a percentage terms of this line. This is the same line.
Yep.
This is insane. This is just for doing nothing. 188,000%.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm not. I mean, I might be sitting on my hands, but like I'm also out here like spreading this stuff like wildfire, trying to get people in on the best opportunity of a lifetime. You know, everyone I care about, I say it to because if you're not sharing this information, you can question your moral judgment. That's what I gotta say. I'm serious. Like, you got to really think about that.
That's funny. That's a fair assessment. Total T-shares are at 11.028 million. Oh, this isn't right. I guess this chart didn't want to update. All right. It's actually 11.014 million T-shares. The daily payout is at 5.817, I think, for the day. And the daily payout was, I think, 64 million. Give me a second. 64,033,000. Oh, and the Hex payout was 5.813. Sorry about that, guys. The APY was actually 38.05. But the T-share rate was right.
But we're trending up on payout per T-share. We're trending up.
Yeah, interestingly enough, I really think that's just a function of the EES stakes and the prices being so much higher.
Sure. That makes sense.
I don't think it's actually going to stay there because we did this for a long time, 5.7, 5.75. And I think that's going to be where a natural payout is, i.e. natural demand. I just think that's where it's at because
so you think it's going to come back down to that level?
Yeah, because it coincides with the increase in the share pool that we've seen.
And I'll tell you why. It's because over time, more and more people are going to forget stakes, get hacked, like shit like that. And so it's going to actually create floors. It's going to chunk its way up slowly over time.
It could. We'll see.
Just because of the factor of forgetfulness of humans over time, I feel like that'll happen.
Yeah,
I mean, unless it ends, all the coins end up in smart hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really probable, right? I mean, all of the coins ending up in smart? Nah, come on.
No.
Impossible.
Yeah, but again, I just think that this line is a function of this line.
Short term, I do agree with you. Long term, I would say we're going to
Yeah,
create
no, long
floors.
term, no. Long term, no. It's designed to go up, right? But I'm talking about the right now.
Yeah,
The
right
right
now we
now,
could definitely be coming back down to 5.5
yeah.
even. You could come and create a new floor lower even.
Yeah, especially if the pool shrinks, right? If the pool shrinks, the payout is liable to go up a little bit because there's less people in the pool anyway. Because that's just how that works. It's just a balancing act. Yeah. And these are just expiring shares chart, and I just want to go over the early part, right? The scaling is wrong here, but this is really May 1st, not January. The rest are labeled correctly. And what I want to highlight is just how the stakes change over time for May and January. The rest pretty much stays stagnant because it's just a pool of 100%. And we're just reading the changes relative to this 100% across time, right? So it's giving a very accurate representation of what's existing at each point in time, right? So from 9 to the 11th of May, May, we didn't really have much of a change, right? For April, it went down maybe 1%. The staking for June went up maybe 1% as well. We can see the kink increase here. Then from the 11th to the 23rd, we had a pretty drastic drop, right? From 46% to 40%. Then to 20% jumped up significantly to 35% from 20% from the 11th to the 23rd, right? So that's an increase in the share count during that point in time. But if we go further, it's already increased even further, right? So we're almost even 40 to 40% a day after. Now we go one more day and May starts to go below June. Now June is at 40%. May is at 38, 39. And once we go out to today, this is right before, we're all the way down to 20%, 22% or so for the month of May versus approximately 45% now for the month of June. So as you guys see, the whales are moving, right? They're moving the waves forward, i.e. increasing that share rate, right? Which is going to increase the value proposition for HEX over time. It's going to do it no matter what, right? And what this is showing is that we have actors in the market pushing it up. That's all that this is showing, right? That's really it. It's important to remember that because people are actively engaged in doing this, right? And we just saw it in real time how it happens, right? So just keep that in mind, guys, right? This is literally the last 30 days. If this is like day 150 on this chart, like the last 30 days starts right here, right? And we've seen an increase in the share payout and the payout per T-share over time, right? During this time where the stakes are being whipped around and the share rate is being driven up. So
cool. That's a good little.
Yeah, it's a good little nugget, man.
Yeah,
good
sure.
little nugget there. The price when I recorded this, the crossover today was 5.322 cents, giving us a 10,000 hex cost of $532.22 at the time. But payout per T-share of 30.1 cents or 31 cents, sorry, and an adjusted hex value, i.e., future hex value of 36.25 cents. And we'll get there eventually. It's only a matter of when. And as always, Hex PE extremely cheap relative to the all-time low of 551% versus 1700 or 17.2%. And don't forget that we are here. And that's pretty much it, guys.
It's still early.
Nice.
Any questions?
Alrighty.
Let's see. Somebody has a question here. When will share price double? Well, it already has.
Yeah, it's getting
Right?
close.
Yeah, well, it already has. The share price was $500. What the hell is this thing? Share price is $500 over here. right?
So in
Over here, it
USD
was
terms,
$500.
it's
Oh
doubled
yeah,
a ton.
yeah.
But
You
in
mean
hex
USD
terms, it's doubled. It's almost doubled in hex
Yeah,
terms.
it's almost 18K right now.
2,000
Well, I'm
coins to
assuming
go.
she means share price in USD terms, so it already has.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, in the future, we'll probably only care about the metric about in hex terms because I really don't have that. I really don't think the dollar, the USD, people aren't going to be swapping their hex for USD in 15 years. I just
In
don't see
hex
that.
terms, it's gonna take a little longer. Because it's gonna happen with respect to the staking, and the staking isn't fluid, right? It's more dynamic than it is fluid.
Imagine like in like 10 years when you or however long, pick an arbitrary number in the future when literally millions of people are ending stakes a day because there's that much activity on the network. What that's going to do to share price, because then you're not going to denominate in USD anymore. You're only going to denominate in hex terms because it's going to fluctuate like USD does today. It's going to fluctuate that in hex terms. Then
yeah, it's going to have
theoretically.
to, right?
I don't know. I'm just speculating, but it's definitely something fun to think about. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about. Oh, so from 100, from 1,000, it's hard to say, right? Because if we chop sideways for a long time, we're not going anywhere. So let's assume we're actually in that fractal and that we're not going to chop for a long time. I'd say that probably within the next quarter, next 90 days, probably by the end of the summer, we'll probably be at 2,000 for a t-shirt. As crazy as that sounds. I mean, it's just moving that way. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong, because man, I'd like to get some more t-shirts before we hit that level.
For sure.
Do I still anticipate still having large whale type short stakes in the years to come? Yeah, because the whales can do that, and people just do whatever they think is in their best interest, and they think that that's in their best interest for some odd reason. Not sure exactly why, but hey, what do I know? I'm not a billionaire. Any price prediction? I think we're in that fractal, so I just think it's gonna keep going up. I don't think sacrifice has anything to do with it. I think it's just a good excuse. Because hex is hex, sacrifice or not, it's gonna move up. So, I don't know. I'm thinking we're definitely gonna hit 10 cents in the short term. Within the next month, guaranteed, we're definitely gonna hit 10 cents.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, I'm like 99.9999.
Yeah,
sure that way.
I think the sacrifice phase will just help drive us there because everyone wants more.
Actually, my target's closer to 20 to 25 cents.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna pass by 10 cents, honestly.
Well, we've just been chugging on. We're purposefully keep, like, when I say we, I mean like the big actors. We're keeping it under 6.8, like by choice, not because we could just build enough FOMO right now is what we're doing.
Right. Yeah. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I think we can wrap it up, man.
Sure. Vince, my brother, it was an honest pleasure getting to. You have a great energy and you're great for the community, and I really like streaming with you. So we'll definitely be doing that again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's an honor streaming with you for the first time. Yeah, thanks Wales for inviting me. Yeah.
Awesome. Man, my pleasure.
And Wales, thank you for bringing me on here and for hosting your streams and for doing all this math for free. And you're a great character to have around. And we got a long road ahead of us. So
we do.
Thank you, my brother. And yeah,
let's not forget
everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Up and to the right, baby. We only go
thanks
on
everyone.
Full send
all the time. All right, guys, we're gonna jump off. Thank you guys again. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks, guys.